What is going on, guys? Happy Saturday, man. Jesus Christ. What a Friday. Am I right? What a presentation. Holy shit. I've been talking to so many people this morning, content creator friends, regular Ashes friends, people. Let me lower this music real quick. It's been such a trip, man. Oh my God. There is so much. Last night I came back on. There were so many people streaming yesterday, so I wanted to give people time to like do their streams. And I knew when I came back, I was just gonna try to do timestamps and stuff like that. Oh, so now you talk to us. Yes. I'll come. Yeah, I guess I'll talk. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, hold on. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm totally joking. So I know yesterday I was doing some timestamps because I really want to make a pretty good video about the node wars because it's such an important integral system in Ashes of Creation. Armageddon, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you and welcome. Hopefully this will be a very cool, enjoyable stream for you guys because your boy is back. I am fully energized, and this stream is brought to you by energy drink. It's not an energy drink at all. It's just coconut water, but I freaking love this. So if you haven't drank it yourself, I'd highly recommend it because I stopped drinking Dr. Pepper and I have been solely drinking water and this stuff. And the reason why I like this stuff is because it tastes like a watered down coconut snow cone. And it literally only has, I don't know if you can even see, but 1 gram of sugar. 1 gram of sugar. Wait, what? Who violated the NDA? Who do I have to report? I'll be the biggest tattletale that ever lived. No, so last night I was doing my own stuff. This morning I was hanging out with my wife, went to go swim with my baby Gia. She's, oh my gosh, she's so cute in the pool. So that was honestly a really big thing. So I haven't really watched a lot of the streams that happened yesterday. I have to literally go back and I'll have time this week. I'll literally go back. I got to watch Q's. I got to watch Jamie's. I got to watch who else? Rive. Nice. I think Rive is going to go live in about 30 minutes. And then an hour and 30 minutes after that, or an hour after that, will be Jamie. I think he'll have DA on his stream. Giving more leaks because I know DA was literally talking to a lot of people yesterday regarding the Node War stuff. So yeah. Burns, dude, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Sugar is terrible for you. Yes, it is. And I've literally been trying my best to handle my sugar intake, and that's why I lost so much weight. I used to weigh 180 pounds, and mind you, I still eat the same, but now I completely got rid of sodas, and now I weigh 160. I've lost 20 pounds just stopping to drink soda, or just stopped drinking soda. It's like insane. Lunar's Chosen, dude, I love your hair. Dude, thank you, man. I actually, what's so funny is that most people, where's my hat? Because I wore a hat for the longest time, and most people were literally like, Vlhadus is short and he's bald and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, no, I have a lot of hair. It's super curly. Like, it's getting really ridiculously long, but it's like curly all the way around. But thank you, man. So it was a verbal NDA. Nice. Thought it was a full NDA release, and it is not. No, it is not a full NDA. And like I said, when I had our boy Phantom from the Ashton Forge podcast, or the Theory Forge podcast, he said it was just the only thing he can talk about is just these 6 tests regarding Node Wars. He can't talk about anything else. But I mean, there were some stuff that I heard about, like the character creator PI has been actually playing with the character creator. So they still say it needs a lot of work. So maybe there's going to be some major passes soon when it comes to the character creator. That's why I've always believed personally that we're going to get the character creator in July. I think this month in June, what I think is going to happen is that they're going to give us the month of when Alpha 2 will be released. And I think they're also going to announce the character creator for us for July. That's what I personally think. I could be completely ass dead wrong, but you know, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Let me see. I'm going to do a series about stuff like that's called Min-Max Your Life. Oh my God. I would love that, Burns. I think that would be freaking awesome. Yeah. Like I said, I am not a health nut by any means, but I've been literally trying because when I was in my early 30s, I got a lot of heart palpitations, and it couldn't have been because I was drinking like 3 Dr. Peppers a day, right? Couldn't have been that. Ever since I stopped doing that, I don't have heart palpitations. I don't have my hands trembling and shaking for no reason. So yeah, it's honestly been, you know, it was very fucking hard. But I haven't really drank hardly any soda. And now when I do drink a soda, like I'll drink like a sip of Dr. Pepper. Like that's it. Like I only drink like a sip and then I'm okay. But the thing is that this buy stuff really satiates me. Like that's been the thing. And it's not carbonated either. This drink is not carbonated, but it gives that good feeling of like, like it's something good down my throat, you know? Okay. I was going to say something, but that's okay. But yeah, so yeah, I can't wait. I honestly can't wait to. Character creator is going to be a lot of fun to play with. I want big tusks for the Renkai. Please, for the love of God, give me like big, huge tusks. I need my tusks for my Renkai boy. It'd be amazing. Let me see. So can we talk about bows? Most important part of the most important part of the game. Oh man. So this showcase, man, like it really is very telling as to where the combat is. And again, when I was in a stream earlier, I was actually seeing my boy Royer stream another content creator by the name of Zillin. I'm sure you know him. He's been very predominant in the early Alpha 1 phase. Good friend of mine. He said something that was so goated. He says, because people were like, oh, people were dying way too fast. And I said, yes, because this game is not designed to run 1v1. It's a group balance. However, it's not meant to be 40 versus 40 balance either. You know, you're still going to get deleted. Like, the thing is that people are like, oh, people are dying way too fast. It's like, yes, because sometimes you have 9 people all on one person. That's gonna happen. You know, the balance truly comes in is whenever it's that 8 versus 8. But, you know, I don't think people will ever truly be, you know, balanced in that sense. And honestly, I think people don't want balance. Like, let me just be completely honest and transparent. Like, I don't want balance in the sense of a 1v1. That shit is boring. Like, I don't mind if someone or some other class is just more powerful than me, even though I may be an exceptional player. Like, I'm fine not being completely and utterly demolishing somebody. But I do want there to be that, you know, like you have a chance. And I think because there's so many dials, there's so many talent trees to play with, there's your gear to play with, there's your abilities to play with, there's your you know, your weapons to play with. There's a lot of dials that you can go into. And Fupo, what's going on? Hope you're having a terrific Saturday. Welcome, welcome. I felt like that Ranger Auto felt like toothpicks. For them, shots did no damage. Well, and again, if you're doing a short bows should feel semi like that. You know, short bows, you can pop a lot of shots off, but it's a short bow. It's not meant to do a lot of damage. that's where the longbow comes in. Like if you want the long, drawn out, things where it's like boom, 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 that's where it's going to chunk. It should feel more like a machine gun than a shotgun, right? As a short bow. Yeah, because it applies on hits. It also allows for a lot of mobility. Exactly. It would be so overpowered if you were chunking people with the short bow. I think most people that want to play with the short bow fantasy, it's because you want to have the most freeing mobility possible, and just being like an acrobat, like out in the wilderness, right? Like, so if you're wanting to be with a longbow, then you want to have those really chunkier, critical hitting bow autos, right, from your basic attack. And I think that's fine. I think most people, when they see this stream, it's also very misinterpreting because you don't know how they particularly talented themselves. You don't know what kind of gear they are attributing to their stats. Like when we talked to Phantom yesterday, he played a battle cleric. So he didn't wear intelligent gear. Like he wore, I think, strength gear. So he went in a completely different way because that's how he decided to play his battle cleric. And so just because you see one person, from this test doing something, you don't know how they decided to build themselves for this particular thing. And then you also don't know, because we haven't really been in the game yet, to find out who is the scissors to the paper analogy, or who's the rock here against someone else, right? Like, we don't know yet. We're not here testing ourselves to see exactly like what's going on in game. You see, I wrote all about it in my comment that I want you to look at and like. I'm not this annoying salesman. You send me the link for it, Sneckers, and I will look at it. You send me the link. Maybe we'll have to see in testing how it feels better than it looks. And again, from what Phantom said, and from a lot of the other PI people that I did get to talk to, they said the combat feels very fluid. I don't think I've heard anybody say that the combat felt like ugly or clunky or laggy or anything terrible. Like, I haven't really heard anybody say anything bad. And again, don't think that these PI people are all these phonetic fanboys that will never say anything bad about Intrepid. Like, some of the people I know are very critical. And again, a lot of the feedback they gave originally when the Node Wars, like Phantom was saying, that bodes true to the people that I talked to, because there was a lot of people in the earlier test that were really poo-pooing certain things in the Node Wars system. But Intrepid literally changed it within a week. From like, there were certain changes they did from like the first playtest to the second playtest, that they did from the third playtest to the fourth playtest. And that just makes me feel so freaking good. The fact that Intrepid is literally having them play for these like 2 or 4 hour play sessions, and then having a powwow after the fact, getting people's feedback. Well, how did you feel about this system? Or how did you feel, when we did this compared to that? Like, do you think this is a little too punishing? Do you think this is a little too long? Do you think this is, blah, 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 blah. Like, that is so good to hear, because this company is so like fixated on making sure that what they are creating is fun, engaging, and keeps the players interested. Like, that's all I get from this company. And that's all I've gotten as far as like feedback, from the PI people. So, I mean, hell, Fupo's in PI. I mean, if he wants to say like how he's felt about the transparency and the back and forth from PI to Intrepid as far as feedback goes, I mean, exactly. From the first playtest to the second playtest was some issues, but was resolved. How was it resolved? Because they listened. Because they probably heard their voices, they heard what those problems were, and they're like, we got you, fam. Let's go ahead and make those changes, so the next time you play this Node Wars, like, we got you. I'm not in PI technically, I'm a moderator. Well, yes, but I'm gonna call you PI, Fupo, okay? Because you're in there, you're playing, you're doing stuff, so it's okay. And A1 problems were solved super fast. Yeah, and again, a lot of this, and this is the thing too, they worked so diligently and like razor fast. Again, When I was doing betas and beta testing shit in WoW, shit didn't get fixed until the second major patch of that expansion. This is a AAA billion-dollar studio we're talking here. Like, let's be real here, right? Like, and I hate it when people talk shit about Intrepid in that regard. It's like, look, if you don't like the way the aesthetics are, if you don't like the way, oh, maybe the game is presented in the way that you don't like, or maybe you just don't like how tap targeted it is, or you don't like this, fine. But don't shit on these developers that are literally trying their hardest and fastest to listen to the feedback and implement it as quickly and as fast as possible, because that was so transparent to me as someone who wasn't even in this community when I was looking at people play Alpha 1. Like, Alpha 1 to me was such a huge eye-opener, and that's literally why I became a content creator for this game, because of the actions this company did. Not for the things that Steven said, it was literally the actions that followed. That's why I became a content creator for Ashes. Monster Man, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you, and welcome to the stream. Welcome. Had no connection issues myself. There was a meme, I'm guessing you meant an MEM leak that affected things for the first 2 tests. For the last 3 tests, things just got better and better. Last test was flawless, almost for connection, super solid FPS and frame rates. Yeah, like, I heard people say, because one of my friends, Fupo, that's in PI, he has a 4092, and he says, dude, I have never loaded up a more beautiful game than Ashes of Creation. He's like, he said it, he's like, Twitch or YouTube, even in 4K, does not give it justice. There is literally, like, the visuals, the fidelity, like how it just looks is just beautiful. Oh, Roar, there was a guy, I don't know if he's still here, but the guy that I told you, Roarier, he is I Am Roarier. That's the guy that made my starting soon screen. So yeah, people liked the starting soon screen, Roar, and I said, hey, I didn't do that. My buddy Roar did that for me. I just gave him the stuff to do, and he just did it, you know. Let me see, which test did the dummy used the banned ability and crash the test? The frame gen and DLSS and everything on Ultra is sick as fuck. Yeah, I can only imagine the fact that the fact that DLSS is going to be in Ashes, and the fact that they're actually going with NVIDIA to be powered by the game makes me so freaking happy. Like, I literally can't wait. It's so fucking good. All right, guys, let's go. I was let me see, go here. I saved it for us. DLSS is ugly according to a lot of people. DLSS, depending on the workarounds that certain games do for it, could actually be hindering or could not be as great. But it truly depends on the company and how they're implementing it into their game. So cries an AMD GPU. Oh, damn it, dude. Why? Like, okay, I'll say this, AMD has gotten a lot better, but I've stuck with Intel and NVIDIA, not because I love Intel. I hate how expensive they are, but dude, NVIDIA is on a whole other level. Like, they just are. And so that's why I've been an NVIDIA, you know, fanboy or whatever. So I'm not really a fanboy. I want the better tech. That's basically where I come from. Christ, don't remember which GPU I have. Oh my god. Okay. Let's get into this. Where's my notepad? I got my notepad ready, because we're gonna be breaking this shit down. Like, once I'm done with it, so once we're finished with this video, I want to go back and because now they released the actual live stream on YouTube, so I'm gonna go back and I want to see the befores. I don't really think I'm gonna kind of skip around a little bit on the actual live stream, of course, because I want to just find the information that Steven talked about with certain questions, because I think some of those questions he answered were like really, really, really important. Let me see. Depends on how it's used. Can say there is no screenshot or anything. Plus, the newest versions of DLSS are way better. than previous versions. Yeah, and that's what I mean. DLSS has literally only gotten better. And there's actually a new what 0.0 version is it on? Is it on DLSS 3.0? Or is it 2.0 or 2.5? Like I can't remember what 0.0 version it's on, but it's still pretty crazy. Mononoke, dude, what's going on? Welcome. We're about to watch the rest of this stream because I was so freaking tired last night. I could not do it. I just don't have the money to upgrade my PC right now. Oh, dude, neither do I. I'm rocking a 2060 Super right now, so I'm totally good. Let me see. Just to make sure you can actually see, I sent it to you link on Discord. I don't have to mention. Oh, it's on 3.7. Okay, thank you, Fupo. I appreciate it. 4.0 DLSS, like I saw a video on it recently because I think the 4.0 is like in beta or something like that. It's gonna go to a whole other level. Like by the time Ashes comes out, DLSS is gonna be on another planet compared to where it's at right now. Like it's crazy. And then we're only gonna have like, some people are gonna have like 590s, not even 490s by the time Ashes comes out. We might even be on 690s by the time it comes out. Who the hell knows? Like it's crazy. Oh, Snickers, you sent to me in Discord? Okay, let me check. Let me do this. Hold on, guys. Like Snickers, he wants me to do this real quick. Let me do this for him real quick. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Let me sign in real quick. Where's my... I need my authenticator. Okay, so where do I go? Because I had to log in. Is it in general discussion? Did you make a whole new thing for it? Or is it a comment in the... I don't see... You may have left it in here. Okay. First page. And some people left some... They always leave really good feedback. All right, let me read this real quick. I think the idea of spreading people with objectives and then merging them at the end is very good because it allows for a single target build to be viable in wars. Therefore, I will focus on my main concern about Ashes currently, longbow versus shortbow. A lot of PI testers after Node Wars said they were using shortbow and longbow felt weak in comparison. I myself am really into longbow fantasy, therefore I want to discuss this matter here. I feel like shortbow has too much range on Showcase. There is often a moment where shortbow could stand on some high ground and shoot to everyone. It's longbow's job, not shortbow. I would go as far as to say that shortbow should be semi-melee weapon. I don't know, 20-meter range, maybe even less. I think 20 meters is fine. And honestly, like, let me just break this down real quick. So I would not be not even a single iota worried about this particular concern you have. Why? Because it's going to be fixed. Like 100%. You're literally going to have Intrepid. Like I myself, I'm probably going to main a Ranger. I will make videos about this. Like I will bring concern to this. You know, when Steven invites me on his yacht and I'm, having martinis with him talking and shit, like, yeah, I'm going to be telling him about this shit, So I don't think you have anything to really worry because this is all going to get stomped out during Alpha 2. Because I agree with you, shortbow, in my opinion, should be a 20-yard range. And then you're going to have longbow that's probably going to have like a 45-yard range. That's in my head where I think it would be really good. I think longbow, you should be, in my opinion, at more of a disadvantage if someone is fighting with you at melee range. If they're within 10 yards of you, you're gonna have a bad time with a longbow build. Like you need to be far. Again, that's like having a sniper. Like that's like, you know, if you have a sniper rifle and someone is like on you, like melee wise within 5 yards to you, you're fucked. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you're just going to no scope them. But this is an FPS we're talking about here. So there's going to basically be a lot of the stuff that we're going to go over and tweak when it comes to Alpha 2. Like 100%. Holy shitty bang bang. What the hell just happened? My God. Anonymous gifter gifted 10 subs. Holy shit. Guys, well, whoever that was, thank you so much. Oh my God. Thank you, whoever that was. Seriously, nice to see you online again, Vlhadus. I just arrived. Would be so kind and summarize what you were talking about. Thanks. Yeah, Joe. So basically, we're basically just talking about longbow versus shortbow. We're about to actually go into a video. I was breaking down the Node Wars stream from yesterday, but right now I'm just basically talking about that Snecker's concern on here about the, you know, the kind of issues that he sees for longbow versus shortbow. I mean, hey, if they can fix it before Alpha 2 starts, I'm totally fine with that. But all I am saying is that I really do think that after watching Keegan or Keenan play the Ranger, I have not a single doubt in my mind that Ranger is going to be in anywhere a bad place, or the short bow or the longbow will be in a bad place. Like, and if longbow did feel kind of lackluster compared to the short bow play, that will be fixed 100%. So, but here you go. You got my like, Sneckers. Okay. Believe me, as someone who is probably going to main a Ranger, because again, I mained a Hunter in WoW for almost 12 years. Like, I have a very particular soft spot in my heart for bow classes. I want this class to succeed 100%. Let me see. Also, there's weapon trees to take into account that might have some effect on range and stuff like that. Oh yeah, there's gonna be so many dials when it comes to the weapon trees, and then also certain abilities as well. Like I'm not really too worried personally. Let me see. Parameters of projectiles from longbow needs to be considered. I mean, yeah, I like I said, it's just hard to, in my mind, this is why it's so hard to play Ashes on paper, because I am not pushing these buttons. I'm not physically seeing on screen how it feels. So it's like, what is my feedback truly, you know, based off of someone else, you know? This is why I have such a problem, like, you know, with some of my videos sometimes, because I feel like I'm saying something I'm concerned about, but it's like, is this really a concern? Like, I don't know. I wasn't there pushing these buttons. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of assuming that it's a problem, or assuming that it's, you know, like a thing. Hey, caught you live. Yeah, you caught me live. Welcome to here. All right. Let's get to watching. Let me see. I mean, sure, those changes aren't complicated, but it's not incorrect to provide feedback about them. No, of course not. Like, I'm not, I guess, like, I apologize if I felt like I was discouraging you from leaving feedback, but I guess in my mind, like, I'm just not worried about it, because even if it was like, if I did hear people say like, oh yeah, the longbow was, ugh, you know, I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm not worried about it, because I know with the limited amount of weapons we have at the start of Alpha 2, I am pretty sure that I'm probably going to make a video on every single weapon and how it feels and what feedback I would love Intrepid to follow. So, like, to me, if there's a little bit of growing pains with certain weapon types, it's just par for the course.
Oh no, Keenage is the one. He's almost at 50%.
No, leave me alone.
We need to take out Keenage.
Yo,
where's the squad? It looks like all...
We're coming in.
Holy shit. Dude.
Don't mind me.
Oh, we only need...
Snackers, dude. Thank you so much for that, man. I'm sure the people that got gifted a sub appreciate that too, man. Give hearts in chat for Snackers there, man. That's really awesome of him. Thank you again, dude. That's awesome.
We need two more, we only need 2 more blood.
Hey, I'm just vibing over here. What are you guys doing?
I got a like fair transaction.
Alright, we gotta clear...
Uh-oh.
We have to clear the enemy team off the God Spike to be able to channel.
I did a...
Okay, I do have something to say. Was anybody else slightly disappointed that you couldn't use the God Spike? Even if it was like something at the end of the war, like This is just something to consider, Intrepid. Something to consider. I think the winner of the Node War, when the staff is fully channeled, should lift it from the ground, and anybody on the opposing side immediately gets Thanos snapped. That's what I want. You won, eliminate the competition completely. You won. Like, I think that would be fucking amazing. And it would just literally let you know. Like, imagine if it was like a ripple. Like, so it just went outward. You just see people getting like Thanos snapped, and you're like, fuck! And then you just get like dusted. Dude, I think that would be such a great touch to end a war from, is to literally have the person that was channeling the God Spikes just lift it off the ground and then just have it zap into the freaking thing. So anybody that's on the opposing side just gets completely nuked. Like, that would be so freaking amazing. Let me see. No, Thanos snap is bad. Winning objective doesn't equal end of war. You still need 1,000 points and kill them. Well, that's what I mean, right? Like, I guess like what I mean is if the God Spike, in order to actually charge the God Spike, I think that should be the final objective, right? So in my mind, hell, even if it wasn't the final objective, let's just be honest. I think if the God Spike had that much power, you know, that's a great boon in the sense of like getting ahead of your competition, because again, they can just respawn, right? They're going to probably respawn at the nearest, you know, thing or whatever, but that gives your group enough time to reassess near the God Spike and then go back at it, you know? But I honestly wouldn't mind if it was like the final objective of the war. So if you're needing like another 200 points and you're at 800 points, and channeling the God Spike is the final thing to do, all I am saying is that would be such a clutch and amazing moment. Like, literally imagine that. Imagine if you're literally there, you need the final objective to be completed, which is to charge the God Spike to the final form. You do it. Your character lifts up the God Spike and literally just Thanos snaps everybody. I'm sorry, but that is a freaking mic drop moment. Like, and that's going to be a moment when your guild or the people that were with you will remember. And that's what, in my opinion, is that so many MMOs lack. They lack the creativity. They lack the fun. They lack the thing that gives players those moments to make them want to come back for more. That's the problem. Like, I feel like it wouldn't be a bad thing to do something like that, you know, in the sake for fun. What was shown was like one battle in war is a lot just like that one battle. Oh yeah, like, I mean, this battle to me is just, it's super high fantasy. You're literally there's like this super legendary weapon that's like being charged and you're feeding it energy and stuff like that. Like, this is such a cool premise for a war, right? For a territory control. But I guess all I'm saying is, like, you know, create those moments, Intrepid. Like, go wild with it. You know, if it's too wild, we will tell you and we will let you know. But I think giving players fun for the sake of it, because it would just be cool, is never a bad thing in my mind. Like, look at Helldivers. There's so many moments in Helldivers when you just nuke somebody, and it's that moment. You're just there watching the freaking mayhem like happen right before you. It just what makes certain, you know, games where if you just get invigorated and it feels good. You know what I mean? Let me see. I can't believe we got a hype train to level 4. That was literally crazy. Let me see. I know if all Node War victories points will be 1,000, or they vary on the node sizes that declared. If a metro is at war, should 1,000 or more be due to population? Well, and I think the points objectives, because numbers are arbitrary in my head. Because then you could just have you can have more objectives, which gives you like 100 points for completing an objective instead of 250, right? And if you do it that way, you don't have to basically exacerbate the 1,000 number. You could just make the objective wins smaller in points and have it be done in that kind of a way. But I don't know. Like, it's hard for me to really truly give an opinion on this, because I feel I feel like I have to get in here and test it myself. Like I have to be a part of one to see like how this feels, right? Um and so like seeing this, I also want to give people um this is not representative of the final product, meaning like the final part of the system. Like Steven did say that wars will inevitably take days to complete. So I don't know if this is very indicative to like, oh, okay, you're going to literally do a start to finish node war in an hour and 20 minutes, right? Like I don't think that's a realistic thing. But as a part of showing what this system is capable of, which was the entire reason of this stream, holy shit, this system is capable of a lot more than I thought. And I love the gamey reasons as to why you would want to initiate a node war, which is one of my worries in the beginning, because I was thinking to myself, well, why would someone want to initiate a node war? Like, what are the ramifications or like the winning conditions of like you executed the node war, but why did you do it? And now we know why, because there's certain node types of why you'd want to hinder certain nodes that maybe you don't like, or maybe they have a mayor that you don't like, or maybe they're part of a guild you don't like, or maybe the fact that they're about to level and you want to take away some of their experience. Like, those are all very gamey reasons, but also very good reasons to keep the world compelling and changing and ever flowing. Like so.
I did a little dive bomb on Keenan. But anybody
Oh
here to
no,
follow
that's
up?
a lot of red. Oh
I'm
god.
on my way.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. Nice.
Oh,
Good
Keenan's
retake.
down. Okay, there we go.
Hell, well.
I love that dragon, man.
All right.
That
We've got some
dive bomb
clerics on the
is
point if
so
we want to
good.
have people try to channel. Really, it would have been embarrassing to lose to a ranger, you know?
Oh, no. They're definitely pretty injured.
All right.
If we
It's
can push
Xeonin.
in.
Keep heals on Xeonin.
Take my buff. We'll see if I can dive bomb them again.
Sorry, I'm just gonna pause. There's some stuff in chat. Let me see. This stream was definitely 10 out of 10 best stream of the year. Yeah, this stream was the best we've had so far. And honestly, it was because not only the presentation was really solid, but the information from the system was so freaking good. We got a lot of really good information. Did we get everything? No, but we got a great chunk of it, which is very, very important. Let me see. When they balance bows to the point where a short bow can't just stand on those ledges and free shot, and only longbows will actually be there, it will feel so good for you just to grapple some longbow rangers off the ledge. Yeah, no, 100%. I think again they're just trying to get their bearings first, because I think this is more of a test on the node system than it is off of weapons, right? So I think a lot of weapons are going to get a lot of tuning, a lot of changes. The weapon trees are going to get radically changed and upgraded. It's going to be a process. So they defiantly thought really hard about node wars, which makes me excited to see the variants they have for the rest of the war types. And I'm curious about what his node sieges will look like in terms for their objectives. Do you need to storm town hall or let X amount of kills, or kill X amount of kills? Hablaze, dude, thank you so much for the follow, man. Welcome, and thank you. I feel like this stream converted one of my New World friends. So one of my buddies, who still plays New World, by the way, always looked at Ashes in the sense of like him not being impressed. He was never impressed. I honestly thought the PvP Caravan Showcase would impress him, but he was just like, eh. He's still a friend of mine, but guy, he's kind of. But I told him about this stream, And so he messaged me this morning and says, hey, he didn't see the live stream. He just saw the hour and 20-minute video on YouTube. And he said, I think Ashes of Creation looks pretty good. And I was like, I fucking told you. Because again, he plays New World. He's done a lot of the wars. I mean, we have Burns in chat who can probably attest this as well. There is a lot of people that played New World and the wars. And the wars is just like literally the same thing over and over. And so when I was telling him about the node war types and how variant these wars are going to be across the world, like he's like, that's really freaking cool. And so now he's paying more attention to Ashes because of this stream than he was even after the Caravan PvP stream. And so I feel like there's going to be a lot of people slowly converting back to Ashes because, again, there's a lot of people who love PvP, but I think they're just worried because no game has truly given PvP like its due date, like its due time, right? They take PvP in the sense of like, oh, people hate PvP. Like the average MMO person hates PvP, so we're just going to have PvP as an afterthought. And here's Intrepid, who's literally putting PvP in the forefront of their game. And of course, all the PvEers are rightfully scared. But at the same time, it's actually making a lot of the PvPers that are playing like Albion, that are playing Mortal Online 2, the 6 people that are still playing New World, excited about Ashes of Creation, which is really good. Like I'm really happy that people are starting to finally come around. So I love the stream a lot because it showed a lot of coming together and really starting to look like an MMO rather than just us seeing more things in more isolated showcases. Yes, I feel like this system, because I knew how big of a system this was, I was truly excited for this stream. And I was so happy because I told people when I were watching my stream yesterday, I said, if Margaret and Steven come out and say, hey, buckle in, this is going to be a long one, like, then it's going to be good. Because, and again, even after the stream, like it was a 2-hour and 20-minute stream. And there was so much information that Steven gave us even after the Node War preview. And that's what I want to go back and watch. I need to write down all my timestamps and shit, but it's truly awesome. I'm also liking the direction, the action style, melee and tap target. So from what I heard, action needs a pass. There are some abilities that are completely action based. You can't use them in a tap target format because this ability doesn't work that way. Similarly to like the plasma ball from the mage, like it's a very directional action based ability. But there's a lot of stuff even from basic attacks that is hard to toggle between an action combated basic attack to a tab target ability. So I heard people saying that was still a little wonky, but if you were just tab targeting the whole time, you were good. So most people during this preview were tab targeting, but the people that were tab targeting were mostly the range people. A lot of the action people were still playing action because they were playing fighter or tank. So take that for as you will. Action needs more work, more on some classes than others. Tank felt good. Yes, that's what I've heard. So it's like, and to me, that's like the best case scenario for me, because melee should be using action and ranged, in my opinion, should be using tab. I understand that there's people that play tab or people that play ranged want to play action, but for someone that really doesn't like action as far as like, bow shots or like casting magical spells in action, I just don't care for that personally. There should be a choice given, right? Whether you want to do action or tab. But again, the thing that a lot of action people want is, well, if I'm having to like actually aim, then I should do more damage than the people that are doing tab, because then what's the point of doing action? But in my head, I'm thinking, well, you're doing action because that's the style you like. Why do you need a damage advantage in that regard? Right? Like, again, I don't play action in that sense. So I don't, because it's like, then are you then saying that if I'm a melee and I'm doing action abilities, that I should do more damage than people who are playing a fighter that's tab? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So it's hard for me to kind of compute how certain action people, I guess, justify the more damage in their heads. But it's like, but I thought you just liked that play style. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, to be fair, action in Ashes is soft lock, but you don't have to aim. Like you don't have to aim every basic attack. Yeah, and again, I like soft lock personally. Like, I think so far the combat that I have seen, I like it. I like it in this format. But there's a lot of action people that want it to be more action based. Like they want it to be like New World in the sense, right? They want New World action in Ashes of Creation. And I don't think that will ever exist. I am just going to be honest. I don't think that's going to exist. So, you see, I'm normally a big fan of PvP, but this battle looked fun. My concern is what it will look like. Oh my God. Who are you? No, my God, dude, whoever that is, dude, thank you so much, dude. This is insane. More gifted subs for the peoples. See, my concern is that it looked like 400 or 500 people in that fight. I don't think it looked that crazy. But yeah, like I think it looked full, and that's what I liked about it. It looked like a actual battle, right? And that's what I was really, really excited to see. Let me see. It was not always showing who was close or now, which was a little bit difficult to work with. Oh, Phantom's answering questions. Oh, I got you. Let me see. Hi. Welcome to the stream. We're just breaking down some Ashes stuff. I really want to see more of the action mode. It does seem more like Guild Wars 2 than New World. Yes, and again, I think it'll never be like New World. But I will say this: I think Ashes of Creation's action mode needs to be better than Guild Wars 2's action mode. Because let's just be honest, every Guild Wars 2 person does not use action mode. And again, there's a reason for that. So I think Ashes needs to do, some pass-throughs when it comes to action mode. 100%. Let me see. Symbol. Hi. Welcome to the stream. So glad to have you here. Hope you have a good time. We're just basically breaking down the Ashes Node War stream. I've been writing down timestamps. I've been kind of discussing with chat. There's people that we're just kind of talking about Node Wars. We're talking about the systems. We're talking about PvP. We're talking about action mode versus tab. I mean, all the things. Let me see your herd opinions. That it's already better. Yes, and again, I think, but it needs to continue to be better. I think what I personally want from the action mode is that I want people to make the comparison for future MMOs where they're like, this game needs to have action mode like Ashes of Creation. I want Ashes to set the standard for this sort of hybrid system. I truly do. Dude, oh my God, Levio. Dude, thank you so much for the gifted subs, man. Oh my God. Thank you so much, dude. Like, seriously. Holy shit. Dude, we just hit 400 followers. Oh my God. Simbi, you were my 400th follower. Dude, thank you so much. Yes, Stickers, you got a sub. That's awesome. That's so good. It's impossible to balance headshots. Yes. And that's why I try to tell people, and again, my friend, that plays New World, he actually plays with the bow in New World. And I just had to tell him, I said, dude, it's never going to be like that. I know. And he really likes that play style. But I said, dude, all of the things that you want in an MMO, like Ashes has, like they're going to do those things that you're wanting. And it's just hard to convince certain people because without playing it and they're just seeing stuff, it's like, but I honestly feel like a couple of my friends, and the one I'm mentioning, right? Like, I mean, he just likes New World, but at the same time, like, it's just one of those things that I feel like if he can get in the game, he can see what I'm talking about. Like, I truly think he'll understand like what I am referencing. And again, Ashes has so much more customization than New World does. Way more customization. And you have 3 abilities. Like, let's just be honest here. You have 6. You have 2 weapons with 6 abilities combined. So, it is what it is. But yeah, I do agree, Sneckers. Like, soft lock is a really, really great mechanic.
Got the pocket heals?
I'm down, Nathan. You got the pocket res?
No.
I'm never having you on my team again, dude.
Oh no. Xeonin left.
Same Phantom.
Are you
Same.
even in the raid, bro? How am I supposed to red?
And Crip, honestly, dude, like I think Action and Tab are going to be able to coexist if Intrepid and when Intrepid starts improving on the action mode. Because as someone who wants to like alt a fighter or a rogue, I'm going to predominantly play in action mode. And so I want this soft lock action to be the best in class as far as all MMOs go. I want people to reference the action mode in Ashes and be like, this new game that's coming out, it needs to have action mode like Ashes. Because it's the best. Like every time when a person mentions a character creator, what game do they mention? They don't mention World of Warcraft. They don't mention Final Fantasy 14. They literally mention BDO. And there's a reason for that. It's the best in class. And Levio, dude, you gifted 2 more subs. Dude, thank you so much, man. Thank you. Oh, and Simbi actually got one of them. That's awesome. One of the new people. That's great. Let me see, guys. Unreal just announced version 6. Do you think Ashes will switch later to version 6 or stay with 5? Would you understand if they delayed to switch to 6? So I didn't know they just when did they unveil? Did they unveil it today? Or when did they say that they just announced it? I've been keeping up with Unreal very closely. And I've been saying this, and I said this on my last 1v1 with our boy Wolfhard FPS. I think Unreal Engine 6 is going to be complete AI integration. And so I think, you know, it truly depends on, it depends on a lot of things. Let's just be honest. It really does depend on a lot of things. I think if it's going to slow them down by a couple of months, do it. Do it. Please do it. If it's going to slow them down by a year, I would say do it even then, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. Because I know that it's very intensive to switch, even from just a 0.0 patch. Like, going from 5.3 to 5.4 is a whole, like, months-long ordeal. So I truly don't know how long it would take. But if Unreal has certain things that they do to make it easier for games to switch over, then it could be faster. I don't know. Like it truly just depends. On UE6 in 2026, main focus is AR support. Let me see, guys. Can someone help me out? I just listened about Unreal 6 in a video. I'm not an expert. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that people have probably speculated on Unreal Engine 6, but yeah, I mean we can look at that after the Node War stuff. Let me see. Do you think next stream they will give us a date for A2? So I personally think that in June, in this month, they should give us at least not a date, but the month that they're planning on releasing Ashes. And the reason why they're only going to probably give us a month is because, again, they're still working stuff out. But again, in my mind, I've always set it to September. September's always been the month for me that I think Alpha 2 is going to release. So, you know, that's why I think we're going to get, from what Steven said, we're going to get a very technical stream this month, which is interesting. I love all that geeky stuff. I'm down to hear about all the back end stuff that they're fixing, or server tech, or implementations of like whatever they want to talk about. Like I'm all good to hear that.
As you, if you're not in the raid.
No, I fell out of the raid.
Oh man. Well, sounds like a skill issue.
Looks like we're channeling.
Oh, we dropped a channel?
Yeah, Lude, a lot of people thought they were going to announce them up this month. I did not. Not even close. UE6 will be coming after the next console generation from what info I have. Yeah, is not soon. Yeah, I thought, to be honest, like I still thought they were going to do 5.5.
Better heal your channeler. It's going to be death from above.
So yeah, UE6 is still a ways away.
I'm trying.
Let me give you some of my mayoral abilities.
That's where Sneckers was having a problem. He's like, short post shouldn't
Oh,
be
nice.
hitting
Nice.
from that long.
Big buffs coming through.
Push,
Love it.
push. Oh no.
Damn.
I'm super stunned.
Dude, Dread was killing
Why,
people,
Brad?
dude.
Why?
People were saying, "Oh, fighters look."
It was worth the death.
You
I
know,
had to.
like all the melee didn't look as good as the range. I'm like, dude, did you
Like
see
he doesn't
Dread?
want me to play the
He
game.
was murdering.
Gotta go
people.
Zerg diving every now and then.
He was. Dude,
Pushing.
He was definitely dreading it up. Yeah, I love the fighter, man. I think the fighter is really good. So, boy, Nathan.
All right, Eli's a channeler. Get them heals on him.
There was a whole story behind this scene. Really? I can't wait to find out. When I grow up, I sort of just like Dread.
We're pushing. Nice. So these
Oh my God,
mayoral and dragon abilities are pretty impactful.
Okay,
To,
let me just be honest here. We need a fire-breathing dragon ability. Am I wrong? Who literally wants, like, believe me, the dive bomb looks cool, but what would be cooler if you were literally in the air, literally spraying fire, like, and leaving fire on the ground for like a certain amount of seconds or whatever. I'm just saying, like, why can't that be an ability too? Right? You literally need a fire dragon. I mean, and again, maybe this is not the dragon that does it, but golly, wouldn't that be freaking amazing? If you can literally, Vlad wants a raid boss. No, I'm just saying, like, even if it had like a like a 30-minute cooldown or something like that, all I am saying is you're riding a dragon as a mare. You have combat abilities on this dragon. Why wasn't the thought of breathing fire on people not the first? Imagine the first thought was dive bombing. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like, to me, if I was the developer there, I'd be literally trying to have fire be like breathed on instead of me dive bombing. I don't know, but that's just my brain. Like, I don't know. It's just what I see.
combat team, y'all want to talk
Meteor
through
shower?
like what you guys were going for there,
They're level
what
15
you're
now.
kind of seeing these look like as we kind of move forward and do A2?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, the point at least of the
Whoever this anonymous person is, dude, I really want to just thank you. Like, holy shit. Thank you so much. Like, dang. Steven, if it's you, dude, just make yourself known in chat. Come chat with me right now. We'll talk about Node War stuff. Let's just stop being bashful. Okay? Steven, I appreciate you coming in, giving me gifted subs, but hey, you know, like, you have my Discord information. Just ping me. We can talk, you know. But seriously, whoever that is, thank you so much, dude. Like, thank you. Wait, who is pinging me? Oh, I was like, wait, someone pinging me right now? Okay. It was literally something else. I apologize.
the flying mount having such powerful abilities is there's only really expected to be one of them per side, in at least wars like this. You know, because these would be more exclusive to the mayor. So they're intended to be really impactful, and also a high priority target because you can kill the mount and you can kill the rider. So it's on the mayor to be very careful, like when they're putting themselves, you know, in danger, to activate these abilities because they themselves are such a high priority target.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and again, because they're such a high priority target, I think they should have, like, look at this. This is a 30. I think this is the buff that's 30 minutes long, but I would actually be okay with a very long, like CD, like a 10-minute, you know, CD of like fire breathing, you know, for this dragon. You know, I think that'd be really cool.
Oh man. How are we doing on the channel?
Not good.
We keep getting pushed off of it, unfortunately.
Godly, dude. Look at that, dude. Dread is killing. He's the.
I think like we need to try to organize everyone to move along the left side and try to push into them. Let's see if I can give us one more ability.
I'm gonna have to message Corey. Be like, hey Corey, tell the combat team to make the fire breathe dragon as an ability.
Here's some.
Like,
Let's try to
please
push
do that.
together.
Nice.
I need some pocket heals on Winstead.
Don't do that.
Yeah, the dev, dude. I'm telling you, man. Some of these devs are wrecking it, man. There was like, I know there was someone
Brad,
yesterday thinking in the
stop
chat that
trying to
there
kill
was
our
people like
channelers.
jumping around,
Stop.
doing
Nice.
stuff. I'm like, I don't know
It
what you're
isn't
talking about.
nice.
There
There we
was a
go.
lot of
Nice
videos.
use of the
This was really
walls.
well.
Was this a tea party? I was not informed.
Get in those heels. Dude, that's a very powerful ability.
So
Look
we're
how
having a
many-
lot of
look how
deaths
much
here.
health that chunked off
I'm sure people are worried about, like, what does being in a war mean when your rate of dying probably increases a lot more than what you'd expect when doing normal kind of like PvE gameplay.
Yeah, so during sanctioned PvP events, we turn off
That's
typical death penalties, right? Like you're not going to get res penalties, you're not going to get XP debt, you're not going to get durability damage. You will still drop the things you have in your inventory, though.
I think that'll be fixed.
Or in your
There's
material
a lot of stuff
inventory
that Steven talked
specifically.
about as far as back-end stuff that's going to be improved.
So obviously that's
This
like
point of the year.
a big part of this game mode.
Again, I think people,
As far as like the larger,
I think people just have to understand that, you know, again, this is alpha footage, right? So a lot of the more technical, like very polished things, you're just not going to see. Like what I want to do, I don't know if I'll do it on stream this time, but I want to compile a lot of footage from past MMOs, maybe MMOs that people have played, and look at some of the alpha footage from those MMOs. Because it's a whole other ball game when you're looking at an actual alpha, right? And sometimes we kind of forget we're watching an alpha because of how good this game looks so far, even as an alpha. So
idea for material inventory. What was sort of the thinking behind that, or is that just sort of like
Rifle,
a
dude, thank you so much for the
convenient
follow, man.
thing to
Welcome.
make sure that we're used to things? Oh, there you go.
I mean, don't stuff your material inventory full of stuff before you
Yeah.
go to war.
Makes sense to me. You know, when
yeah,
you're right, you're right.
Magnus,
What can I
agree.
say?
They do look pretty damn good. That's the beauty of Unreal 5.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh no.
Now we clean up.
That's a problem.
Oh, look at Dread. Dude, I'm
Victory
telling
in
you,
death.
dude, he's
Winstead
freaking
skull.
killing people. Golly, dude.
Oh my god, they've taken it back.
How are you guys going to take
Oh.
advantage of that luck bonus if you don't quite control the zone?
We won, Steven.
Did we win?
We win. You weren't even paying
No.
attention.
Oh,
And that's what I mean.
how did we win?
And that's what I mean. I feel like the winning condition, if you don't even know you won, like that's already problem number one. You need some kind of defining moment that indicates victory for both sides, right? The side that lost needs to know, the side that won needs to know, and there needs to be like a very visual component to it. I mean, that could honestly just be like a really cool like banner that shows up that says, you know, victory complete, or, you know, something like that. But to me, I think an even better way is to do what I said and just Thanos snap people, have the freaking God Spike be lifted off the ground, and then just, I think that would be really, really, really cool.
We finished channeling.
It was my clutch heals ignoring the siren song of Justo endlessly asking for reses and focusing on real targets.
I
You
thought
guys
Trad
may
kept
have won the
killing you.
war, but you will not win the
Battle.
battle.
I think that's a little backwards.
Well, you may say that, Keenan, but if you look at the point distribution, we're 800 to 304 right now.
Ooh, that's right. Let's take a look at that.
How'd you guys get so many points?
Well, we
Oh shit! What happened to my camera? Oh my god! All right, give me a second. Hold on. Please do not clip this out of context. What the hell? All right. Sorry. Okay, let's keep going.
Won objectives and killed you a lot.
So okay, so we completed the event. That's obviously not the end of the war, though, right?
Correct. So basically, the way wars are structured is a war contains phases, and phases contain events. So there are conditions to win a phase, and then there are conditions to win a war. Winning a phase gets you some amount of like in the moment rewards and some more long-term rewards. Winning events gets you some amount of in the moment rewards and long-term rewards, and then the war is like the massive.
Right. So that's the kind of thing, right? So there's objectives because, you know, you may have won the battle, but the war is still on, right? So I think certain objectives need to have better indicators as to who's won the winning condition or who's completed the winning condition of the objective. But I feel like the last objective, which culminates in winning the war, should be a big deal, right? So you could have a lot of menial objectives, and of course you can have the major objective of just killing the other side, like as time goes on. But to me, I think there needs to be a little bit more objectives in place to also spread people out, right? So that way Zergs kind of don't have the thing of existing, because the fewer objectives, the more of a chance you're gonna have Zergs just compile in a group and just, you know, zone each objective, right? Because there's not that many of them. But if there's a lot of objectives, and I'm saying not a lot, but let's say there's like 7 objectives all on the screen that all give you pretty good amount of points towards the board, then it basically forces you to disperse. So that way there's more concentrated battles throughout these objectives, rather than being fewer objectives and it just amounts to a Zerg fest, right? So that's kind of how I see it personally. Let me see, Vlad, can you read my long question or tell me I should stop spamming? Oh, no, Bob Black me. I'm sorry, Joe. What was your question, man? Did I miss it? Let me scroll up. I don't. Can a war end in a draw? It's point based. I don't know. Again, I think we'd have to kind of see that. Dude, Rive, holy shit. Rive is raiding us. Oh my god. It's that dude Rive. Dude, if you haven't checked out Rive, dude, you gotta check out his content. He's awesome. Let me see. Wouldn't it mean that one big group roams around ganking all smaller groups trying to do the same objectives? Well, and again, that's why I think more objectives is better than fewer objectives, right? So if you have a really big, because again, this isn't just a guild versus guild war, right? This is a node war. Citizens of a node are going to be in the hundreds, right? 500 potentially. So you need a lot of objectives and not just some major guild to go in. And oh my god, Rive, dude, you did not have to gift anything, man. Just you rating is enough, man. Thank you so much. Holy shit. That's awesome. That's really nice of you, man. Thank you so much, dude. Yeah, so many subs, dude. Golly. My viewers are going to be happy, man. They don't have to watch those stupid ads on Twitch. Thanks for the subs last week, bro. Oh, dude. Like I said, man, like I love your content, dude. I always have. And I love supporting you, man. And, you know, thank you for, I guess, paying it forward to me as well. This is why I love this. This is why I love our content creator community, man, because that's what we do. You know, we pay it forward, right? See, damn you, Jeff Bezos, and your damn ads. Oh man. Okay. Joe, I guess I didn't see your question. If you want to just tell me the question again, I will answer it for you next time. I apologize. Yeah, Rive is a G in the ASD community. Of course he is. I mean, Rive, like I said, I've always loved his content. That's why I've had him on like 4 times on my 1v1s, because I always enjoy talking to him. Oh man.
Of objective
let's
that
keep
you're
going.
competing towards.
Got it.
So what we have gotten, if you open up your map,
No, you're good, Joe.
you can hover over this blue banner. You notice Highwayman Hills is controlled by Miraleth now.
Ah, so we've made an incursion into their area.
Yeah, so now all of the territory associated with Highwayman Hills is ours, and the node XP from here goes to our node.
Let me see. Is it going to be Zerg versus Zerg with no limit? Will it be big as Zerg wins? Well, so I think when it comes to Zergs, because again, this isn't just a guild thing. So all of the guilds in a certain node are going to have to come together to go through certain objectives. And the reason why, like I say this, is because what you can do is like, oh, your guild, go after this objective, your guild, go after this objective. And if that guild has 300 players, then yes, like it is going to be that way. But that's why I say this is a war. There should be a lot of objectives all over the declaring war, right? All over the map. Like spread it out, have certain PvE objectives, PvP objectives, whatever the case, right? Like you need certain things in order for it to happen. Hell, I wouldn't even mind if there were certain objectives that required a caravan run during the war. You know what I mean? You need all of these things to happen for it to feel epic. This war, this whole system needs to feel epic in scope. Like, and the reason why it needs to feel epic is because the cost of activating this war needs to be high. So this is something unlike the wars in New World. Let me see. I think I posted my question so often that it counts as spam, so you can't read it. Can someone help me out? I really apologize, Joe. Usually I try my best to like answer everybody. But yeah, it's if you have my Discord, you can just message me in Discord the question and I will I can answer it there for you. Oh my god, Phantom. Oh dude. Oh my god, dude. I saw on the freaking Discord what you posted. Jesus. Oh, here, let me do this. If you're not in my Discord, I have a Discord for Vlhadus Gaming. So if you want to like go in there and just hang out with some of the peeps, let me do this real quick. Let me generate a link. Sorry, I should be a better streamer and have that shit on there, but I don't. There you go. That's my personal Discord for Vlhadus Gaming. So if you want to go and hop in there, and then you can leave me your question, just at me on there in my Discord, and it'll ping me, and I can read the question on there. Okay. Phantom, sorry, not sorry. No, you're good, dude. I knew someone was gonna do that. Wars in New World, at least territory control didn't feel immediately rewarding, and that's a problem. And again, I've talked to my friends that explain to me the problems in New World. Hell, I've had Burns on, and you know, I'm curious. Is Burns, are you still there by chance? I don't know if he is or not. He's probably not, but let me see something real quick. I'm gonna message Burns real quick. Okay. Okay. Dread, did you private message me? Is your name Bronzen? Oh. Yes, it's me. Okay. Let me read it right now. Let me see. So Bronze said, I remember that after the Node War stream, a tester player talked to you and he said that Steven was level 30 and all the others were level 15. Yeah, so who you're referring to is Phantom. He's actually in chat right now. There was a scene where Steven was killed by an archer in a 1v1. Do you think that the range classes are overpowered, or is that Steven just being bad? I got a bit afraid by the numbers or the range players. The melees had a hard time like Dread. Dude, the Dread had a hard time? Are you watching the same stream as me? Do you see how many people that guy killed? So again, I think range inherently have an advantage being ranged, but I feel like the melee were stomping too. Like, again, if you go back and actually watch some of the melee, like they were doing some freaking damage, man. Like they were wrecking it. But I think I'm not worried about tuning. And again, Steven is completely distracted. Like, we don't know, there could have been certain things that hiccuped during the node war. He's trying to keep track of all the shit that's going on. You know, it's a lot to keep track of. I mean, this seems like a very overwhelming kind of a system, but you know, ultimately, like I'm not worried that a certain class, you know, isn't doing as well, because all that's going to be fixed, or it's going to be tuned during the Alpha 2 process. So yeah, a successful node stream would result in destruction of the node, not just being taken over. Yes, a node siege. Yes, 100%. Let me see. Ranger is who I put my blessed weapon on, but it would work perfectly on melee as well. Yeah, the rapid shot ability look weak. Maybe some of the on-hit effects like the Kraken Slayer. Yeah, I feel like the one ability that Ranger is going to be nerfed on is Snipe. Snipe is a really powerful ability. So, but again, I'm not, like I said, tuning wise, what this showcase was supposed to show you was the complete process of a node war. And that's exactly what it did. So we'll have to wait and see. Let me see. That is a skill that returns mana based on hit the blessed weapon. I was going to ask Phantom, what's that one? It's like a channel mana. Like I saw a lot of the clerics casting, like they lifted their thing in the air. Like, what's that ability? Like, I don't understand what that ability does. Like, because every time when I saw a cleric doing it, they had full mana. So I'm like, why are you doing this ability if you have full mana? Like, I don't know.
And as a way to kind of incentivize players to play here, we've given a luck buff in this area as well. So you can get increased loot drops while you're here, farming for your node.
Nice. So the citizens of Miraleth are rewarded for some period of time based on the event outcome.
Correct. So if we had lost, we would not be getting this buff or siphoning this node XP, and Winstead would be getting this buff for successfully defending their home.
Now, obviously, this is one of many
did hear
different
about some of those
war
bugs, too.
events, and one of the war events reward types. What are some of the other events that we're going to be
Except for
introducing
Jabba
during
Harley
Alpha 2?
rushing into the battle. Most of the time, I just saw range.
Yeah,
players.
so a big one we want to do is the...
And again, I feel like there wasn't a lot of other perspectives that they were able to capture was the problem. Like, we never got to saw Phantom's perspective. And again, it's because the perspectives they were showing were actual developers. So Dread is probably one of the developers at Intrepid. You know, Planet Orf was the producer for Intrepid. So all of the different points of view that you saw were the ones that they could capture in-house. So you couldn't really see the other fighter or the other tank people like in the actual battles. So perception-wise, you think, we just saw a bulk of like ranged players, and the only melee we really saw was Dread. So it's kind of like a false example in a sense, because that was the only kind of point of view we saw from a melee. So, like I said, I think people will kind of quelch that once we actually get in there and we start pushing buttons ourselves, right? So,
service denial. So that'd be like turning off your caravansary or shutting down your construction buildings for a period of time, right? So like, you've built the best blacksmith on the server, and we don't want...
Let me see. Even after the victory, I can imagine the losing node will want to continue attacking the winning node in their territory to try to keep them out of the claimed territory. Keeps the PvP action going past the end of prime time. Oh yeah, like I can see, like, even though the war is won, there's still going to be people fighting it. But now, just like how instantly when they activated the node war, and now people were like red and whatever, as soon as the node war ends, I'm pretty sure it's going to shut off that same mechanism as quickly as it went on. So if you're going to start killing people and they're not flagged, purple, now you're going to start incurring the debuffs, the death benefits, or the death penalties, and so on and so forth.
This node gearing up for something, or we're trying to compete with them, and we want the best blacksmith at our node, so we're going to go to war and try and shut down that service for a period of time.
Okay, cool.
So I think some people just want to see what they see. I think that's my case, or do someone else thought the same? Well, I think any kind of bias a person has are going to see those biases, or are going to see those. Like if I am a person that's looking for problems, then I'm going to see those problems because I am out looking for them, right? So that happens all the time. But I think holistically, a lot of the problems that people are thinking are problems like are going to be resolved, right? That's why I don't really think there are issues at the moment. Like at the moment, there are issues, but in the grand scheme of things, they won't be issues for very long. This is a company that's very cognizant to what their players are thinking and to what people are wanting and also what they want. But they only have so much time to really, truly, and Steven has said so before, balancing is not a thing they're doing right now. They're trying to get stuff functional and working, and they'll deal with balancing later. And again, if you saw Alpha 1, does anyone remember the wand? People were getting blasted by the wand in Alpha 1. Everybody had a wand.
That's awesome.
You know, the kind of most exciting
I am a
post-day
fighter
2 one that we want to do is
smash.
is relic based, where you could potentially steal a relic from a node or destroy their relic so it's reintroduced into the world, and you can and now your node can acquire it.
Awesome. And then obviously
so I want to say that I feel like objectives should actually have instant rewards for players. Like I think any objective won by a side should have an experience gain, right? Like if you were completing like a pretty big quest, right? I think a lot of experience should be had from a node war, personally, because this is where the whole node is taking part in. Like if you're level 17 and your node is under attack and you're going in to defend it, like you should be compensated, right? Like I think there should be a lot of grab bag or random loot bag rewards, giant gold XP rewards, and this should be off of every objective. And then there should be a major reward for the winning side, right? Like I think that should be handled in that way, because even the losing side, if they won a couple of objectives, still got something out of it, right? Because they still are going to have to face the kind of penalty at the end for losing the war. So I am not an advocate for having only rewards be at the winning condition of the war itself. There should be rewards had at every objective.
we have, we talked a little bit about the mount and how we're going to be moving that to level 3, the level 3 village node for the purposes of entrance A2.
Perfect.
Same with the mayoral abilities. And those mayoral abilities are only activatable during events or outside of the events as well?
So the mayoral abilities you used in the showcase are only activatable during a war. So that means you could activate it, now that the event's over, you could still use that ability, but only within the context of this PvP kind of state that the two nodes are in.
God.
But
cool. That dragon looks so freaking good.
Mayors will also get access to like special abilities they can use during sieges as well that are unique to sieges.
Oh, very cool. Love it. Now, obviously, people watching the
let me see, because as soon as one side starts winning, the players on the other side would just stop participating. Well, it depends. Again, like I think certain people, like if they already found like, okay, like if the opposite side has won 7 objectives and you guys haven't won a single one, of course there's always that sunk cost fallacy, or that we're losing so badly there's no way we can turn this around, so we just kind of stop participating in the node war. Like that's going to happen too, right? And I think if that happens, it's going to be very discouraging towards the losing node. And I think that losing node is going to also lose citizens because their mayor may initiated that node war when the citizens didn't want to. So they tried to defend their node. And then that other node that was wrecked them as hard as they thought they would. And now it's just like, I don't want to be a member of this node or a citizen of this node anymore. And then people start dispersing. And then maybe over time, there's a new mayor with new leadership, and that one node where people kind of poo-pooed on starts actually going on an upswing because now there's better leadership there. There's better buffs there. There's better buildings there. And that's how the ebb and flow of this entire game is going to go. That's why I'm so freaking excited for this game, because it just has so much longevity. If there's good people, or even if there's tyrannical people in certain spots that have their time in the sun, because that's going to also move people and rally people to doing certain things, so their node or their server doesn't get stagnant, right? Like that's ultimately like the whole beauty of it, right? Let me see. I just wanted to thank you because through your stream I connected with a German viewer and thus found a cool future comrade. Dude, awesome, man. Like I am like, thank you, Joe. Like honestly, like I really truly love this community. There's a lot of people very, very, very excited for this Ashes community. And I've always advocated for people, if you're not in a guild, please find a guild. You know, find people that are just excited about about Ashes, because this is why this community has been thriving the way it has. And I am so glad that this stream was as banger as it was, because man, there's just people on fire. Like there's people that have reached out to me, left me messages. I've seen a little bit of the forum posts. I've seen a little bit of Reddit. I've seen a lot of the AOC Discord. Like people are really excited. Hell, even Narc was talking good about this stream. I was like, oh my God, like even Narky Boy is happy. Like this is truly a time to be alive as an AOC content creator, or just as an AOC fan in general, right? So
the showcase today about the Node War and the Node War events, performance is something that we are going to be getting really into over the course of the next, we have gotten into over the course of the last couple of months, but we're really going to be digging into it over the course of the next couple of months as well. What can players expect to see both on the client side and on the network side? Talk to me a little bit about that, Zach, that work.
Client side and network side.
So for the client side, we really expect this to be like a seamless experience to where we're going to have some like dynamic load balancers that help you know, the best case and the worst case, where the best case is you're, you know, in a group by yourself, and the visual fidelity of that should be just as good as the visual fidelity of, you know, the large scale sieges or node wars and things like that. So we're going to be refining our character shaders, and everything is going to be really in the back end, right? So
hold on. You see, the design of the POI was awesome for the node war. It naturally led from PvE objectives to PvP choke points, and the choke points, height advantages, small clips for obstructing view felt very well placed. I hope Intrepid makes most POIs like this. And again, this is a single example in the 19 different areas between both continents. Or there we go, between both continents. So there, like I said, this isn't going to be like New World where you're doing the same objective with the same terrain and you're going to know that terrain backwards and forwards. Every area, every biome is going to have its flavor, its look, its verticality, its obstruction. I mean, hell, how is a node war going to feel at night, right? Because prime time is going to be from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. If it starts getting dark by 6 p.m., like in game, or that's probably a bad example. Technically, from what Steven said about night and dark, is that as it sits now, the daytime is going to be 20 minutes long, and then it goes into nighttime for 20 minutes. So that's the day cycle, is like 20 minutes for day, 20 minutes for night. So you're going, like, it's going to be very interesting to see what the nighttime node wars are going to be like. That's going to be super interesting. If you have degrees of victory, with escalated rewards, that would help. If getting swept 10-0 and objectives resulted in node siege being declared, you'd fight for the death for that last objective. Oh yeah, like I think you have to have those things in place for it to, you need to create that emotional investment. And I think sometimes as a developer, that's pretty hard to do. But if they can nail that, you're going to get some very passionate defenders of people's nodes. Let me see. I really enjoy your streams because you are not that big yet, and you can answer the chat. As soon as you're so big, you won't be able to have time for that. I will always try to interact with chat. I don't care if I have 1,000 people in my chat. Am I gonna be able to interact with chat the same way as I do now if I have 1,000 people? Probably not. But I will always try to make sure that I incorporate chat into my streams, because I want to act like we're all like that we're talking. You know, if we were all here analyzing this in my room with all my anime shit all around, I want it to be like, oh, like if someone says something, I can talk about it, right? If someone poses a question and shit. So yeah, like I really appreciate it. And this is why I love, you know, the kind of chats that we have now, because I can interact with you guys and I can, you know, talk the way I do with you guys. Let me see. How is a node war going to feel across continents? Well, again, and you know, this is something we discussed last night, is the fact that if you go to war with another node that's on the other continent, that the node you declared war on, that's where the war is going to take place, right? So if someone from the Renkai area initiated a node war on the Riverlands, well, that's where the war is going to take place, at the Riverlands, right? So it kind of doesn't matter in that sense, but the disadvantage is that the war, or the people that initiated the war near the Renkai area on the eastern continent has to migrate to the Riverlands. So they need their people to like go there. So you're going to have ships, you're going to have people that are constantly trying to go to the Riverlands to make sure that they can win the battle, right? So there's a lot of that stuff. The Half Full, dude, thank you so much for the follow. I just saw it like literally right now. Thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. Here's an interesting thought. Mayoral commissions can be completed by non-citizens. So presuming non-citizens can dictate whether war declares happen. I don't like that personally. I think there should be certain commissions that are available to anybody that goes to that node. But I think mayoral commissions that are for the citizens of that node, the only people that should take part in those commissions should be the citizens themselves. Having someone from the outside dictating or completing that stuff, to me, doesn't make sense. Like, should there be some general stuff, right? Like, I think if there's a general commission that could make the node money by having strangers complete them, like they don't care who completes them, whether it's our citizens or someone else, go ahead and do it. But the ones that actually make sense to have it be gated behind the node citizenship would definitely have to be a node war. Having outside influence out that is to me a bad call already, personally, because then you can just have people from the outside be like, oh, you don't want to declare that war? Well, we're going to complete that commission for you then, and you're going to have to be in war. Like, I don't know. That sounds irky to me. I don't like that. That should be a no decision, and only a no decision. Just my personal opinion. Technically more people will be non-citizens, so they have a distinct advantage, so I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it either, Lude. Not at all. Maybe citizens of the node, vassalship parent. So I think that would be fine if the vassals could, like, if the mother node is going to initiate war, like, and some of the vassals can do those commissions, I think that's okay for now. But I think once we get in there, if I change my mind later, then I change my mind. But I mean, to me, I think someone else or having any kind of an outside influence doesn't make sense. But vassals make sense on paper. Will it make sense though when we get in game? We'll have to wait and see. Let me see, right? Because anything anyone else is putting out looks so much more modern. Or I'm sorry. They said it looked bland and dated. What looked bland and dated? Who said that? I'm so lost right now. AOC is popping right now. Insane to me. How could you be negative on what they are showcasing? So anybody that is like poo-pooing the node stream or the node war stream, those are the same people that poo-poo on anything Ashes. It doesn't shock me. Like, I think if you were to even see a Castle Siege with no lag, it looked buttery smooth. It had the MMORPG Reddit. Oh, the people that don't like MMORPGs? Yeah, I can see that. 100%. The MMORPG Reddit is the most toxic place I've ever seen in my life. Those people do not like MMOs. Like, you join the MMORPG Reddit because you hate MMORPGs. Like, you would think it's for people who like MMORPGs, but god dang, man. Every time I have seen a post in that, it is the most toxic place I have ever seen in my life. So, I don't know. Take that as you will.
The player experience should really be seamless, and we handle everything under the hood to make sure that you get good frame rate during these.
Joe, thank you so much for coming by, man. Seriously. Go to bed. Sweet dreams. I'll see you on the next one. All right. Later, dude.
Different types of experiences.
And players are also going to have a lot of options when it comes to kind of tuning that experience for their specific hardware. I know one of those that we recently have instituted is DLSS. You want to talk to me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the DLSS integration has been great. On the 40 series NVIDIA cards, we've been able to nearly double.
He's talking about DLSS right now. It's so critical. The problem is people generally don't want a new MMO come and kill the MMO they're currently invested all their time into. I think that's a bullshit response, because in my mind, if you're loving an MMO, what does it matter if another MMO comes out that people play? Like, my thing is that if those people are leaving that MMO that you are invested in, like, it's par for the course. Like, is anybody getting a Helldivers because, people are playing Helldivers and they're not playing the game that I was currently playing? Like, literally, people were all playing Enshrouded. As soon as V Rising came out, no one's playing Enshrouded anymore. Everyone's playing V Rising. Are the Enshrouded people upset that the fact that V Rising came out? I don't think so, because I think the people that were playing Enshrouded are actually playing V Rising. So I don't know. It's just, I guess certain people just have this very tribalistic approach. Hold on real quick. You want to see my baby?
Double or
Look at the baby. Look. What's that? How you doing? You have a good time? Did you swim? This is the baby. I have to hold her. My wife is getting her bath time. Little baby. Oh, what is that? Is that Daddy's mic? But yeah, I think honestly, so I actually ordered her. I custom made a onesie that has the Ashes logo all over it. It's a black onesie with the Ashes logo all over it, and I'm waiting for it to come in, and I'm gonna take a photo with her in that. So yeah. You ordered a baby? Yeah, I did 6 months ago. It came in finally. Took 9 months. Can you imagine? It was like the worst shipping I've ever had in my life. Like, oh my god. It's the baby. But yeah, I feel like, honestly, like, with, I don't know, certain people that want to crap on Ashes, like, they're just gonna do it regardless. So just let them do it. Like, let them do it. Let them be upset. Let them be mad. Who cares? Like, I feel like when these are the same people that are gonna. What, mama? What's wrong? What's wrong? You want to see? You want to see? What are you doing? Still faster delivery than Alpha 2? Yes. I recommend, you know, if you're going to order a baby, the 9 months it took is way faster than 7 years. Ooh, okay. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So yeah, like I just feel like people are just gonna, you know, like I don't know. I don't want to even put energy into it. Like I said, there's a lot of people that are very skeptical about Ashes. I understand the skepticism, but to just say, oh, this game looks bland, it's gonna be outdated in a year, like, you mean a game that's built on Unreal Engine 5 is gonna be outdated? Do you not know Unreal Engine? Like, do you, how, like, I can understand if they were saying, oh, this game's gonna be outdated because it's built on a custom engine that Intrepid created, then yes, I can definitely see Ashes being outdated in a couple of years. But that's not the case. So where are you getting this information? You know, like it's so stupid. Let me see. I'm sorry, no game that has you kill 20 boars will be the next big MMO. Okay. See, that's the truth. Don't need to feed the haters any energy. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, again, it's one of those things that, you know, you'll have people that have opinions. It's fine. Those opinions, you know, there will always be an audience to validate those opinions. And so I've always been of the opinion of let them have their way, let them talk, let them complain, let them bitch. But at the end of the day, I am still going to do what I'm going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. I'm going to play Ashes, and guess what? So will they. And they might bitch about it, but guess what? You're going to buy into it and you're going to play it because everybody else will.
Frame rate just by enabling the feature, right? So it's been a pretty big win for us.
Yeah. And then obviously, one aspect of you know the game that you guys are witnessing currently in the showcases that we've given over our different features has been, you know, visual effects as a whole. There is
Hold on, let me go
options when it comes to kind of tuning that experience.
It's going to be really in
Network side. Talk to me a little bit about that, Zach. That work.
So for the client side,
all right. This is at 1 hour, 8 minutes, 34 seconds. Client side, back end. DLSS. Sorry.
we really expect this to be like a seamless experience to where we're going to have some like dynamic load balancers that help, you know, the best case and the worst case, where the best case is you're, you know, in a group by.
You see, I got $500 Ashes package. I just want server to work. Well, I think it should really excite you at the fact that they literally had this big ass war and it ran very freaking good. Because again, in the games that I've played with multi-billion-dollar companies behind them, you get 40 people into a freaking area and it's the shittiest, laggiest, rubber bandiest thing you can ever freaking play, and it is aggravating as fuck from a player's perspective. And here is this indie company out of nowhere, has never created a game before. And of course, they have developers that have created games, but this is our first game. And they're literally having a better back-end infrastructure for server stability than most billion-dollar companies. Go figure.
Yourself, and the visual fidelity of that should be just as good as the visual fidelity of, you know, the large-scale sieges or node wars and things like that. So we're going to be refining our character shaders, and everything is going to be really in the back end, right? So the player experience should really be seamless, and we handle everything under the hood to make sure.
Oh shit, Burnsy. Hold on. Dr. Burns from the Copium Clinic just messaged me, or actually okay. I'm gonna give him a call real quick. If you haven't seen the Copium Clinic or Dr. Burns' content, like, how dare you? You need to stop watching me right now and go watch his latest video because it's freaking amazing. All right. Here we go. Voice call.
Yo,
Oh, dude, what is going on, Dr. Burns?
bro. Sorry, it was playing Fortnite, and I saw your message, and I was like, oh shoot. Well, yeah, I want to talk to Big Vladdy Daddy.
Hey, dude, I'm so glad you're able to talk. So I just want to talk about New World for a second, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you've been so busy, you probably didn't even get to watch the Node Wars stream, and
Dude, yeah, I did. Watched it, and I haven't done like the deep dive on it yet, but yeah, I watched it.
Oh, you did? Okay, perfect. So I wanted to talk a little bit about New World for a second, right? Because again, I've not played New World. I've played it up to like a certain point just for gathering perspective. I just want to see what the gathering was about. But you played it. You've had numerous videos where you talked about the Node War, the wars in New World and stuff like that. So I just wanted you to kind of elaborate to me or tell me. Let me see. Ethereum, what's going on? Is that Alec? Oh my god.
Oh, is Alec in here? What up, bro? My guild leader.
I know. So basically what I wanted to talk about is New World's war system, because I remember you telling me that it's basically the same map and it's the same objective.
Yeah.
Right. And then it's all so the map doesn't never change.
Right.
And the objective.
Well, so I mean, technically it does a little bit, right? So like, you know, outside is a forest versus a tropical rainforest, but it's not a meaningful difference. I mean, the only difference is pretty much trees and a little bit of elevation.
Right. But the actual, like, I guess, fortress that you're fighting, it's the same fortress.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Okay. The same 3 points outside the fortress to take as well.
Right. So the fact that they're literally going to have multiple node war types.
Yeah.
The fact that you're going to be able to initiate a node war, and depending on where the war is declared at, is where it's going to take place in. So depending on the 19 different biomes across both continents, you're going to have a completely different map. Like, how do you feel about this as someone who really loved the New World War system?
Yeah, so I mean, with the New World War system, that was really the only end-game loop that I enjoyed. I mean, the crafting was subpar. The PvE, the dungeons were. I mean, you could do the dungeons a couple times and they were fun, but after that, it was not great. So yeah, the New World Wars were fun, but I would say those are a lot more like what the sieges will be like in Ashes. What I found interesting about the Ashes wars was that they're a lot more like in New World. In order to declare a war, you have to do these horribly repetitive quests, and they're terrible. It's just mind-numbingly boring. And sometimes you have open world PvP. They've since changed it, but in order just to even get to do the war, which is, equivalent to the Ashes Siege, you have to you have to disconnect your brain and run these quests over and over and over again. Right. And that's what the Ashes war system seems a lot more like that, where it's more objective based, although it's way smarter. Like it's this could be an end game loop, right? Like there's so much variety, like you were saying, in all the different node types, and then in the different types of war. Dude, how sick was it when he showed the map at the end and how consequential it was from the Ashes node war? Right.
Dude, yeah. And each node type is going to have a different like winning prize. So you're going to have like, what was it? Like a node war can, if you win the node war, can actually hold like, or barricade certain building types from being suspended.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And then you ask a node war type that can actually take away node experience from a node. And then there was another node type where you can literally be mayor for a certain period of time. So if you're the mayor of one node and you win the node that you declared war on, you're basically a mayor of both nodes.
Right.
But that's crazy. Like
cool is there's so many consequences, right? Like it matters. It's not just oh hey, this instance thing happened here and blah blah blah. But no, like it is consequential.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think ultimately the biggest thing for me is, and this was what I was telling one of my buddies that plays New World still, and I think honestly this particular stream actually made him come around. Like he was actually, he's never truly spoken like positively about Ashes. It's either been lukewarm or negative. And after this particular live stream, he actually spoke positively. And
interesting.
And he says he's coming around. I messaged him. I said, "Hey, what videos have you watched?" And he's actually rewatching past AOC live streams.
Oh, so this hooked him.
That's what I thought. Because again, I've been preaching the whole AOC, message for a while now. So it's like to get him to actually like come around is actually quite cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I guess from your perspective, then, like you actually truly liked this as a person who came from New World, actually enjoyed the war system.
Yeah.
This is like New World's war system on crack cocaine, steroids, and Red Bull.
So but it's like fragmenting it and making it better. So not only is like it's the influence race is what they're called in New World. These are like the influence races, but they're 10 times better, dude.
Right.
And these have consequence. And then on top of that, you still have the siege that we haven't seen yet. And dude, I bet the sieges are going to be disgusting. I can't wait to see the sieges.
Do you think they should be instanced?
You know what I'm going to say. So
clearly they shouldn't, right? They don't instance them, right? That's what you're going to say.
Instancing the sieges, that's just the mechanic, right? I mean, I want a capped number.
Yes,
I'm fine if people want to walk around and watch, right? Sure, I guess it'd be a little annoying, a little bit distracting, but whatever. So I think they need to be capped. Like there can only be a certain number of people who participate in them. They have to sign up ahead of time. And like, let's say if it's your node, you can't murk out 90% of the spots. I mean, it has to be X number percent your guys who are in the war, because that was a big issue with New World. Was you would have this happened the first year of the game. They changed it later, but you would have one guy who owned a territory, and he would mark out the rest of the spots.
Right.
And it was just dumb.
Yeah, I think, and I completely agree with you. I think node sieges or castle sieges should definitely be capped, and they should, in my opinion, they should be instanced. Like I completely
and that would be the easiest way to achieve capping it, right?
It's such an important system that you don't want the outside world. I mean, the influence is one thing, but it's like the stability. You need instancing provides that stability that there's only this many people in here, and we're trying to run this at the optimal efficiency possible. So there is no mistaking like, oh, we only lost because of hardcore lag, or we lost because of this, or
I mean, performative, right? It'd be way more performative.
Yes.
Yep. Completely agree.
So yeah, I it makes me really excited because again, for someone who hasn't done the wars in New World, and you did a shit ton of them.
Yeah, I did a few. I mean, Alec, he's done a million too. I've watched a bunch of their videos.
Yeah, no, for
Ethereum was even known on the East Coast. I had heard, on the West Coast, playing on US West, I had heard of Ethereum.
Right. And so that gives me so much like, I'm good, like I feel really good already, but it's just like, I feel really good knowing that the people that have played New World in the wars, that they
are excited for this. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like they like, again, just a couple of people I talked to. And again, I want to talk to you because I know you were a huge advocate of New World. You did it, you played it, you were there. And just, if you are excited, then it truly gets me excited as someone that is literally going to see this system flourish. And again, this is the 1.0 version of Node Wars.
Right.
Like, this is so foundational that we're not even talking increasing the scope or the like the badassery that could potentially evolve into, right? Like imagine, like I was saying, like imagine, you know, with the dive bombing of the dragon and having an additional ability where you can breathe fire onto people and you can have people on fire and shit. Like, oh my God. Like I feel like there is so much cool factor. And I also mentioned this.
And picture murking out people on their dragons too. Like if, you know, you could pay Alec, you know, 500 gold to bring him and his big white dragon to come fight for you on your, you know, in Nexus's Node Wars, right?
Right.
That would. Oh, so my question is, what do you think about Node Wars in terms of instancing versus not? Because with Node Wars, there's been no indication of, in fact, there has been indication of, it sounds like it's kind of free for all. Like whoever wants to come in and fight can fight. How do you feel about that?
I think if you, okay, so let me just break it down like this. War is crazy, and because nodes, this is going to be an open world event, I think that's par for the course of there being outside influences, whether they're you know, vocal contracts with merc guilds that are trying to help certain nodes win or take certain objectives, or, you know, to do stuff like that. My thing is that people, I think the bigger question is that I think the way it's going to work is that only the two nodes are going to have no debuffs, or like you can kill, you know, be killed as many times from those citizens and vice versa with no penalties. I think people that are not participating in the node war, if they're not a citizen of either node, they will still incur death penalties as if it's open world PvP.
Sure.
So I think there is stuff to risk as someone who isn't in the war. Like your node's not under siege or whatever, but if you want to incur that risk by participating in the fight, that is a you decision, or that is a guild. So I think it's fine. I really do. And again, if you want to go in and basically be bodies for people, like I don't see that being an issue, but I can also see guilds basically being green and basically being body clutter. To basically like, oh, I'm not fighting or anything like that. I'm not going to fight, but we're basically here to hinder like, you know, like certain objectives, right? For just being bodies and things that are trying to like jump out. I can see that happening potentially.
Yeah, that, unfortunately, though, I think that would lead to zerging really hard, and that would kind of muddy some of the water with strategies. I mean, who knows? I do like the idea with castle sieges. I like those being capped, right? Only 250 versus 250. With node sieges, the only reason I'm okay with it being relatively uncapped or it's soft uncapped somehow is the fact that you can, it's like vote by fighting, right? You want the nodes to go down, and so you are voting with your fighting essentially. And I'm okay with that, because otherwise, I mean, you could get some pretty big mafia guilds that don't let the map change at all because they're in power, you know?
So one of my viewers said some sort of prompt to join a side when you enter the area. So whenever there's a caravan right, you have a prompt that will come up saying, hey, would you like to defend this caravan, or would you like to attack this caravan?
Yeah.
Do you think during a node war between two roaring nodes that there should be
a node war or node siege?
A node war.
Oh, a node war. Oh, yeah. War. Okay.
Like, do you think there should be some sort of a prompt for when you enter a node that is under war, that there should be a prompt that comes up to say, would you like to defend this node, or would you like to attack this node? So it's basically kind of like an event style, right? Like, because there's certain events that are PvP in nature where it's like, hey, do you want to attack the bandits, or do you want to defend the bandits? Right. Do you think it should be a prompt like that for the node wars?
I mean, it makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I that's a really good idea personally. And again, this is where I think the Alpha 2 is going to flesh out. And I'm not really too worried about it, because again, there's so many good ideas out there that I think will be in such a great state by the time the game actually launches, because we're going to go through several passes of every major system to the point where by the time like a person that's never played Ashes of Creation, it's going to feel so smooth and hopefully very polished, the sense of like, holy shit, like everything's been thought of, like everything like feels good, it feels meaty, it feels like I can dive in and really go into a certain system, and it feels very fleshed out. It feels like I have a lot of content to do. That's ultimately the goal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, dude, I really appreciate. I didn't want to talk too long. I know you're busy. You probably spend time with your family and stuff like that. I just wanted to bring you on for a little bit.
I see a message from Vlhadus, and I drop whatever I'm doing.
Dude, I appreciate it, Burnsy, dude. I really do. And honestly, I was gonna say your latest video was fucking banger. I love the video.
Oh, thanks, man.
As you can see, I watched it all. So that's you know, that's what I do. But
appreciate it, dude.
Burns, thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me. Like I said, hopefully we'll talk a little bit later. You know, just our weekly checkup, you know, same as usual.
Shoot me a text.
Yeah, all right. Boyle's still acting up, but you know, I'll send you screenshots later. Okay. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Right, yeah, see you, bro.
All right, bye. Oh man, Burns is so freaking awesome. I love me some Copium Clinic, man. Love me some Copium Clinic. All right, so let's get into some of the actual stream, you know, like the thing that people wanted to, or I wanted to go over real quick. Let me see. It's very good considering the game is still in the middle of alpha. Yeah, I like I said, dude, this game is going to be, this is another reason why I feel like it needs to have a pretty long alpha 2, like 2 years minimum, because there's so much back and forth feedback. And there's also like over 25 systems in this MMO. And some of them are even more major than this Node War system. Naval probably being outside of the node system at large, the naval system is probably the next biggest system. And then you have like the profession system, which is also another huge system within itself. There's like every single system there's just so much, there's so much depth to it. You know what I'm trying to say? So
into that, we do want to go over our YouTube spotlight. So today's, if you didn't know, if you head on over to our YouTube
you might as well have
development
replaced
update
this
pages,
with my name.
you can become a subscriber. Make sure that you are, it shows you as a public subscriber. Otherwise, we can't see that you're a subscriber. It's really strange.
I'm gonna use the
and you leave a
quick.
comment over there, and then we will select someone at random. And today we have Hilgelord 7252 with the question: as we start to see more talent trees and abilities, I start wondering how AOC will handle unique playstyles and maybe different builds. For example, will we see unique items and or enchantments with support, which support a health instead of mana as a resource build, and with classes skill tree or class skill trees, augments, and weapon talent trees? Won't there be too many playstyles to balance? So it's really kind of a question: will there be a variety? And then the other part of it is,
how do you balance it?
How do you balance that much? Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, so will there be a variety? Yes, there will be many varieties. You know, the approach with regards to kind of player being able to customize, you know, how their archetype and how their weapon and choices and gear choices interact with the broader ecosystem of other players and the encounter designs, right? Is to provide maximum flexibility for the types of decisions you can make as a player. Those are the types of scenarios I find most intriguing. From a balance perspective, where, you know, historically what we've talked about is we're not trying to balance everything. That is not the goal. This is definitely not a goal for it to be balanced in a 1v1 scenario. Our balance is definitely more focused around group composition. And when we say group composition, what we mean is having present a number of the archetypes, right? And those archetypes aren't going to stand on equal footing with each other. There is going to be a rock, paper, scissors design when it comes to innate advantages that certain archetypes have over each other. And giving or affording the customization options lets MMO
I might skip this stuff.
like your choice is relevant, right? And sometimes you need to live with that choice. And every scenario you come against, you're not going to be optimally primed for, right? It's going to be a struggle bus sometimes, or it might be an easy breezy sometimes, right? Like it just kind of depends. We want to have that fluctuation in your encounters so that it's not always a breeze, right? You can't always predict how you're going to perform in any given situation. Sometimes you're going to have to make decisions strategically or tactically that you're not accustomed to because you can't predict the outcome of the scenario. And that requires that you're not always perfectly balanced for the world. You're not always perfectly balanced for other characters, other adversaries or friends, right? That is something that keeps things a little bit more lively, I think.
And that's such the greatest response, and I'm so glad he said it that way, because and I've said this so many times, it depends on how you spec yourself. If you're speccing yourself to min-max in an advantage towards your greatest opponent, right? Like meaning like if you're a rogue and your kryptonite is tanks and you optimize yourself to be very efficient in trying to kill tanks as a rogue, even though that's a weakness of yours, you're going to create another weakness by doing that with other classes and other content. So you can't, what Steve is basically saying is, if you try to optimize, you're not going to be able to truly optimize in the ways of everything. There is going to be a weakness of some sort, and you either have to accept that or not. And I think in most times, especially MMO players, they want to be efficient in every category: single target, multi-target, AoE, execution abilities, or whatever. They just want to be OP at everything, and I don't think that's going to be the case in Ashes.
And on that same, or on like a juxtaposed note to that, there's still going to be customization within realms for your archetype that you will want to spec into, knowing you're going into a certain fight or into a certain raid or into a certain war, whatever it may be, and you may want to spec specifically and gear specifically, and have people set up in a way that makes the most sense for that.
Yeah, and that's the hamster wheel, right? Like that's where's your chase, right? What's your bis, right? And there isn't going to be a single answer on the bis front, right? You may have to chase multiple goals of end game gear, and the more you achieve on that front, the more prepared you will be for a wider variety of encounter design, for a wider variety of difficulty or challenge ratings that you need to approach, and having more of those options available, I think makes it an interesting and compelling progression story.
All right. And then the next thing that we have to discuss here is our dev discussion. This month's topic is cutscenes. So if you haven't headed on over to the
what makes a good cutscene?
Really just want or distracting. In prefacing
yes,
the next segment,
let us start the prefaces.
Yes,
many of the prefaces. So informed and abreast of progress for the game's development. That is, we are public development process, take interest to the next level, right, of a game that's up and coming, right? Most people, they wait around for the trailers, they see the launch date, and they're like, all right, cool, I'll wish list this or something, right? Like that is the vast majority. So you guys,
if you're one of those folks, come back later.
Yes,
we'll have the game for you later. If you're impatient, you don't want to watch the journey, that's fine.
that is a stage that is coming. There's no way to play loop what you the nodes and the node war system. So kudos to him. In addition, a lot of people on the team, from the engineering side to the art side, come together to obviously make Ashes of Creation. And what you're going to see today, I think you're going to enjoy.
Let's go.
Bye.
It's funny, you're like, we won?
But to be fair, that's what I was talking about earlier, right? There's still a lot of UI work, the proper toasts and like fanfare when the
victory
victory
did pop
occurs.
up, but I think you did.
I was like too drilled in on the
a lot of the UI stuff is still
it's hard sometimes, and you can tell whenever like folks stop talking is because they're like concentrated on the battle. But I do want to preface again before we get into some questions that we gathered questions, so thank you Vaknar and Roshan and our social media man as well for popping in questions and making some notes here for us. But of course, we did say at the preface that everything here is work in progress, all of our UI, everything. But
Mm-hmm.
specifically, we made a mention of VFX and performance that we're very aware of and that we're working towards. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about that again, Stephen.
Sure.
So the reason why he wore glasses is because he had a cut on his actual eye, and light was super sensitive to him. And believe me, if you've never had an actual like a paper cut on your eye or any kind of a cut on your eye before, you kind of don't understand. But I've had one. It sucks. It's literally having like a paper cut on your eye, and it's like everything sort of hurts. Even to blink, it hurts. So yeah, that's why he wore glasses.
Just because I saw it like as
specifically.
A lot of people were talking about it, and we're very much aware. That's why we prefaced it.
Yeah, for sure. We did preface it just to what's the opposite of preface? Suffice?
Suffix, yeah.
Let's suffice.
No, wait, no, wouldn't be. I don't know, whatever.
We're making a sandwich.
Just to reiterate,
Right.
obviously the focus over the course of the next couple months is going to be really to drill in on the visual effects language, that soup that we kind of see in the middle of battle. Some refinement to be there, and it's already been underway. There's been some reapproach to the mage VFX that you guys have seen. Also, keep in mind, like, we have significant lighting changes that are happening as well that can affect visual effects and need to kind of go back and iterate on the visual effects based on the lighting changes. We're deploying those lighting changes over the course of this sprint. So that's over the next week or so, week and a half.
Lighting changes.
And that's and we've been waiting to kind of really go and tune the visual effects until those changes come in. Otherwise, we'd have to do it 2 times, right? So keep in mind, we're aware of that. That is something we are working on. Because you're seeing something in a work in progress state, you're going to see things that aren't quite up to where we want them to be yet, because we're actively working on them. On the UI front, our UI team is phenomenal. They're an unbelievable team, very capable artists and designers.
They just saw a lot of icons,
and engineers,
like where it says icon, because we're still making those icons.
And again, like, part of the fact that you guys get to see the game in development without the veil is you're going to see those things, right? And UI is under the gun to service pretty much every system in the game, and because of that, some of this stuff is just somewhere in their backlog and not as high priority, because they're still getting some of the functional systems up and running. But those passes will be had also before entrance of A2. On the performance side, Zach Mallet and Zach Strange have done a phenomenal job on the networking team, engineering team, tech art side, in kind of, taking what is the maelstrom of development and starting to now kind of hone it in better client performance, but also network performance side. Next month, we're going to have a deep dive on performance and kind of give you guys some insight there. I guess I'm spilling a little bit of the beans on what that's.
All right, so hold on.
Entrance of A2. On the performance side, Zach Mal.
Let me see one. Let me see. Next live stream. Performance.
Mallet and Zach Strange have done a phenomenal job on the networking team, engineering team, tech art side, in kind of, taking what is the maelstrom of development and starting to now kind of hone it in better client performance, but also network performance side. Next month, we're going to have a deep dive on performance and kind of give you guys some insight there. I guess I'm spilling a little bit of the beans on what that's going to look like, but
a little teaser.
Little
it's going to be
teaser.
very tech heavy, so prepare yourself. But we'll make it entertaining.
It'll be tech heavy, but it'll be entertaining. But also, it's very important, and I think it gives you guys a look at some of the more nitty gritty side of development. It's not going to be as shining and awe as the Node Work demonstration, but it's going to give you insight to how we approach these massive problems, not just problems for us as a project, but problems for games in general. How do they service such high player densities? What is our proprietary approach to doing that? And basically the ace up the sleeve that is trying to make another massively multiplayer, online role playing game. So that is something that is still having work done. They're doing a phenomenal job towards that front, and I think you guys will see the fruits of that labor come Alpha 2.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into these questions. We have a lot, so let's get through them. The first one here is there going to be a system that lets opposing nations sabotage war preparations, like a rogue sneakily burning food storage or poisoning the water supply, prohibiting a war from even starting?
Yeah, I think so important note on the war starting, right? We talked a little bit about at the start of the video how mayors kind of need buy-on from the citizens in order to achieve that. Part of that buy-on requires the acquisition of certain resources. So when you think about like espionage, okay, I have someone who's telling me that
Is there going to be a system that lets opposing nations sabotage war preparations, like a rogue sneakily burning food storage or
Let's see, this is the questions I got to start going through. Basically sabotaging a node. Ow. Sorry.
poisoning the water supply, prohibiting a war from even starting?
Yeah, I think so important note on the war starting, right? We talked a little bit about at the start of the video how mayors kind of need buy-on from the citizens in order to achieve that. Part of that buy-on requires the acquisition of certain resources. So when you think about like espionage, okay, I have someone who's telling me that a war commission has just been initiated by the mayor. Now, that approach is somewhat placeholder for the purposes of introducing this node war gameplay loop for Alpha 2. Long run goal there is that there will be reputation scores that we haven't implemented yet between nodes, and you will see as reputation scores deteriorate. And when they deteriorate, it serves as a predicate for the mayor to now have the option to start those war procedures. Now, still in the long run, you're going to require buy-in from the citizens. And when people catch wind of that, there are ways to disrupt to prevent the acquisition of some materials in order to acquire the war scroll, to influence the land management score of the surrounding area, to capture caravans that are moving those supplies to the node. Like those are all 10,000 foot level strategy, not tactics, but strategy in how do I stop a rival node where I see my reputation score with them is low enough that they could start these actions. And now I'm starting to see rumors and whispers of the citizens supplying the things that the node needs in order to act on this war. So just keeping in mind, like the intent is to provide that political intrigue, to give those types of actions to the players where they can disrupt those activities.
And likewise, if your mayor initiates something like that, like a commission like that, if you as the citizens do not want to complete that, you do not have to do those objectives, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. That is so again, like the commission approach is a temporary approach just for the purposes of Alpha 2 to give.
Let's see.
The gameplay loop of space, but it still represents what you just described. Citizens have to buy in. And the way in Alpha 2 they're going to buy in is by completing those commissions. Now, let's say the majority of citizens don't want to complete those commissions. Then the mayor is not capable of utilizing the action, and they've wasted that commission slot for some period of time and the cost associated with deploying it as a result. So mayor kind of has to be in tune with the desires, the will, the mandate, you might say, from a political perspective, of what their populace wants.
All right. And then the next question is something we've talked about a few times, but I feel like it's something that, was brought up because of the massive scale of war.
Sure.
Is will there be VoIP options for people like voice?
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
Over IP options.
Not at the entrance of A2. That's not in scope for what entrance A2 will be. However, during A2, we are going to have regular updates to the game where we're introducing new content, new zones, new features, essentially these will be regular updates. Voice over IP is an intended feature that exists within 3 spaces.
Yeah, it's
taverns,
forever.
parties, and raids. So otherwise, we're going to rely on you and your social circle, in Discord to kind of have voice over IP. But in the areas where we expect players to interact with people they don't know, right, or to meet new people that they don't want to have to share a Discord link with, or, take the interaction beyond just the surface level, hey, you're in the same raid as me, we will provide that option through a voice over IP within those areas.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. So those of you who have been here for ages, you know that, but I just want to preface, because some people are just joining us today. This is your first time seeing Ashes of Creation. I want to make sure that you're aware and it has context. The next question is, are there any plans to have upkeep costs to war in addition to the initiation costs? It would be incredibly compelling to know that crafters and gatherers would have to work double time to ensure that the war can go on, or even stop supporting the war if they find it unnecessary.
Not necessarily within the war context. However, I think the crux of that question is, how do we include,
kind of like what I said earlier,
how do we include material resource requirements, active artisanship engagement, like all of these other gameplay systems? How are they interconnected with a political event like war? And the way we achieve that is, obviously there are things that can enhance your war preparedness or your war efficacy through the use of unique weapons during war, unique upgrades to your guards by supplying resources to the barracks so that you have stronger guards at your headquarters, or weapons and shields and armors that can be utilized through the barrack system. In addition, vehicle support for sieges. Like, there's a lot of different ways where crafting and artisanship plays a role as enhancing, not necessarily maintenancing, a particular war or feature.
I did hear some people asking about that stuff. So I think that crafters out there will be excited.
Hey, craft, just to be clear, crafters are the shit in Ashes.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
I said that in the past.
Our world revolves around them.
Absolutely.
In a lot of
so
ways.
it's not just crafters are relevant for player-to-player trading. Crafters are or weapons and shields and armors that can be utilized through the barrack system. In addition, vehicle support for siege. In addition, through the use of unique weapons.
Revolves around them.
Absolutely.
In a lot of ways.
So are the shit.
Okay, so I got to put that one down. Let me see. Crafters are the shit.
In Ashes.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
I said that in the past.
Our world revolves around them.
Absolutely.
In a lot of
so
ways.
it's not just crafters are relevant for player-to-player trading. Crafters are relevant for a lot of gameplay loops within ashes, and not again in a way to kind of inhibit those things from occurring, but rather to enhance them, to give you a leg up, or your side a leg up.
All right. And then people want to know, is it possible to be hired as a mercenary when I'm not a citizen of the node, which are in war? Like if I want to.
As a mercenary, there's not a direct like mercenary contract kind of system. However, there will be certain war scrolls that will be available in the future, not obviously at the entrance of A2, but there will be certain war scrolls that could be cooperative, right? That allow multiple nodes to kind of joint declare war, and also potential defensive pacts and treaties that exist at the diplomacy level between nodes. So those types of systems are intended.
And I guess the people over on Discord got a bingo. For those of you who don't ever hang out in the Discord, I highly recommend it. There's like a watch party going on. They make a bingo card every week or every month where they try to like guess what's gonna show up on the live stream. I didn't look to see what it was, but they got one.
What was the bingo? They got a bingo?
Yeah.
It was probably that I cursed.
I don't know what the final thing that got them the bingo was. Then I just saw someone screaming, "We got bingo!" Can we declare
Yes.
war outside of server prime time and PvP for 20 hours without gaining corruption?
You can declare war outside of the server prime time. The key about server prime time is that events cater to prime time, right? So these inflection points where our expectation from a gameplay design is to allow or afford players an opportunity to participate in highly impactful, events within the game, those get delegated to prime time. So this event that you saw today, while the whole war is not determined by that
Did you guys
event,
see that?
at the diplomacy level between nodes. So those types of systems are the key about server prime time is that events cater to prime time, right?
I think
So
I may have missed it.
these
Steven
inflection
casted
points
prismatic
where
beam.
our
Look,
expectation.
right there. Look at this. That's prismatic beam. We literally have not seen this ability at all. This used to be the ability, if you remember watching the UE5 update, which was in December of like 2022. That was the last time we saw that ability be casted. This is the new prismatic beam.
From a gameplay design,
it looks like
is to allow or afford players an opportunity to participate in highly impactful, events within the game. Those get delegated to prime time. So this event that you saw today, while the whole war is not determined by that event, success within the event grants additional score, point score to the overall war. And there may be multiple events that occur over a multi-day war between nodes that the sides can catch up in. Prime time.
No,
does
that wasn't
not
one beam. I think that was the prismatic
you could
beam.
have a war declaration occur at an off-hour time, but
the mage ability.
Ultimately, a war declaration is primarily just we're openly flagged against each other, and these events will spawn during prime time that we need to make sure our organization, our citizens are organizing
Available
for and aware. Yes, exactly.
And it was a naughty word. That got you bingo. I've been informed from all spaces. People are pinging me. They really wanted me to know. The next one is, would a team get more points for killing a mayor?
Yeah, so we've talked about that in the past. That is not just a mayor. We've talked about expanding that out to special positions within the node. So like head of a social organization or head of a religious organization. We want those positions to be potentially more prized positions, so they could score more points. But alternatively, they also might have some powers during war as well, as we saw with the mayoral abilities.
Interesting. I'll mark that one down. What is that? 50. I'll do 25. Killing mare gives more points.
So yes, that is
And those
definitely an
mayoral
intent.
abilities you can only really use
It's been a minute, dude.
during the wars, when those wars are happening. You can't just
That's
use them
correct,
willy-nilly all the time, because that was something that people brought up.
Correct. Mayoral abilities are used during war or during sieges. So to be clear, what we're talking about is wars. There is a different type of conflict that occur for nodes. Those are sieges. Those are very acute event-based situations where you are, warned ahead of time that this is up and coming, and the sieges are also delegated to prime time.
Cool. And then, will there be any way to differentiate color-wise between ally and enemy spells?
Well, this is a good one.
That's a good question. I do not believe that is something that we are intending to do. That could potentially be considered some type of accessibility option that we might be able to service from a tech art side of applying some type of Fresnel, to the effects, or I'm not sure. That's a good question. I know that there's been discussion and some plans around that potentially as an option, but I don't have a good answer at this point right now.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing, because people are like, well, how do I know if that's an enemy thing that I need to stand in or a friendly thing that I need to stand in? So we've had the conversations for sure.
That's a great question.
After declaring war, are your enemies also auto flagged in the war zone, or just your citizens?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
After declaring war, are your allies also auto flagged in the war zone, or just citizens? So let's say I'm not a citizen of this node. I walk into Highwayman Hills and there's a full-on battle happening. Am I auto flagged as an ally of that node?
So previously we had discussed in the past about alliances being on the hook for sieges. We had historically gone back and forth with regards to wars. I believe that the position we're in now from a design perspective is that certain war scrolls and war types will induct alliances as participants of the declared war, but not all wars will. So that is predicated on the war scroll used, I believe.
Right. And then, is there a cap of how many players can do a node war objective, and can more people join while it's still in progress?
A node war objective? You mean like in the event?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the events are not intended to be capped. Right now, our goal is to provide a setting where in the open world, players can, if they are citizens of the node or participants of the event or the war, that they can move in at any time during the event and participate. That may be something that depends on the event type. As Justo said during the Node War live stream, there will be different types of events. I wouldn't rule out that some of those events might be participant restricted.
You're okay. And then people want to know about the dragons. Obviously, they were, each mayor had a dragon that is specific to Node Wars. Can the dragon be killed? What happens if a dragon dies, and is there a cooldown?
Oh, I'm going to put this one down.
Yes. So there will so for the purposes of Alpha 2 entrance, the intent is to provide dragons to mayors. We had talked about dragons being delegated to level 6 nodes. That is still the case in the long run. However, we have the technology and the system built, so we want to afford players the opportunity to interact with that during Alpha 2. And as a result, we are going to amend the predicate requirements to only be a mayor of any node level. Now, that that particular mount, and any potential armors that might also be associated as a mayoral grant will be timed and associated with the mayor's term. When that term ends, they will lose access to those things. The intent for the gameplay space that the mount exists within is that during certain events, whether it be a war event, or a siege, the mayor will have the ability to utilize that mount. And that will likely come with some cost up front that the mayor needs to pay in order to do that. And when the mount dies, they will have to essentially be subject to a cooldown period for the mount to be available again to use, and have to pay the cost again. So it is a high risk, high reward type setting, because that mount affords a unique set of abilities that the mayor then has access to for that particular event.
And for this demonstration, we asked people to not kill the dragons, not steal the dragons, just to leave them alone, specifically for this battle, just because we were
dragons are going to be a tier 6 metropolis.
If people are wondering why,
there's still some outstanding work,
but they're going to allow people to have
on
the
dragon mount tech. Right now, the mount tech is very universal, and we need to have some specific.
I think he's upgraded since then.
Work done on how the mayoral mount exists.
So I want to say there was a new benchmark. See if we go to Ashes. My God, where would I go? Or let's go to the wiki. There was a benchmark. Here we go. So this is the new benchmark. So this was just updated very recently. So looks like you have the minimum specs, so it's still being done to a 1070 equivalent, but the recommended specs is recommending a 3070 equivalent. So yeah. So I mean, this is basically it.
Part of that is like its death state, so we didn't want it to die during this, because the death animation isn't respective of the fly versus ground state for the locomotion of the dragon. That would have looked weird, so we kind of made sure people wouldn't attack and kill the dragon for this demonstration.
Yeah, the archer probably had a 40-something series.
And in addition, rights to mount the dragon have to be predicated on alignment or.
This is going to be a very graphically intensive game.
Which is still outstanding.
Let's just be real.
And just because I know that some people who have bought packs might have a question about this, as a mayor, will I be able to swap out the cosmetics for the gliding mount or flying mount look?
The cosmetic overrides might not be available at the start of Alpha 2. We're going to see about that. However, the intended experience going forward beyond the entrance criteria of Alpha 2 is that you will be able to apply the relevant mount cosmetic to the type of mount that it can be applied to. So if you have royal mount cosmetics, you can apply them to royal mount types in game.
Yeah, and obviously the Drake of the Canopy is a cosmetic, so it will not be the default. It's just what we're using right now to set the preface for that.
It was cool, so I wanted to use the, it was.
I'm glad you think it's cool. I got to design that.
AMD Ryzen 5 2600. And then it says or equivalent. So I don't know, but an AMD Ryzen 5 3600 is what the recommended is. So I don't know. I don't really know AMD that well as far as processors go. So You have a 6700? Okay, then you should be good.
That one. So for me, I was like, it's cool being able to see it in the game.
Yes, I saw some people were calling it the Canadian dragon mount.
Yeah, because it's supposed to look like, the whole point of it was it's supposed to look like a leaf kind of coming down.
I feel like in that situation we should have had like syrup dripping off of the wings or something if we wanted to be fully Canadian.
Or 67.
I wasn't going for the Canadian
just
vibe.
Said,
but...
a boot.
Oh no. Moving on from there, we have, can all nodes go to war, or is this limited to vassals?
All nodes of stage 3 or higher can declare war or be declared upon. However, the jury is still out from a design perspective on whether or not nodes within a vassal structure can declare war against other vassals. They surely cannot do it against their parent, but there is some discussion about whether or not nodes can have wars potentially with each other, or certain types of war scrolls against other vassals. That probably is not going to be the case. It'll probably be the case that wars can only be declared against other vassal structures.
And could you declare war on a node that's really far away from you, or does it have to? Because okay, cool.
Yeah, no proximity requirements.
Cool. And then the next one here is wait, I think we already answered the mayoral ability one. And then, why are some enemies' health plates shown completely, and why are others shown in quarters? I know that I don't know if we've answered this before, but we definitely were answering this in voice chat and in text chat. So I just wanted to clarify for people who are watching this stream so they have an understanding.
Yeah, so enemy nameplates are shown in quarters. And the reason for that is, as we've discussed in the past, that there is an element of decision making that happens differently in PvP when you do not have direct insight into the exact percentage of your enemy target. This provides a bit of fog of war and non-specific calculation to the types of rotation and abilities that you're going to use. That obfuscation, in my opinion, is more compelling. Now, why can you see other nameplates with full health? That's because those are your allies. Those people are, or they're NPCs, correct. They're allies or NPCs. So you will see NPC exact hit points, because prescribed rotations is I don't feel anything unique in a PvE setting. And then obviously if you're in a raid, if you're in a guild, if you're a fellow citizen, if you're in a party, you can see their hit point exact values as well. And then additionally, you may have seen from the different perspectives, each of us as a player had different settings that we're comfortable with regards to nameplates. There's a lot of customization options that are available for nameplate settings that players have the ability to kind of, curate for their own experience.
All right, and with that, we're going to wrap up our Node Wars preview section and move on.
That's a lot of questions.
I know, and move on to some more stuff. But before we do so, I do want to note that there is a thread up over on our forums. We would love for your feedback on
achieving smaller group objectives. What is
and move
That's a lot of questions.
I know, and move on to some more stuff. But before we do so, I do want to note that there is a thread up over on our forums. We would love for your feedback on Node Wars, on this Node Wars preview. So if you do have thoughts, please send them over to us. Are there any specific questions you want to ask people as they're thinking about their feedback and they're posting feedback for us over on the forums?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the interaction of the node event was the central focus of this particular live stream. What we're wanting to collect feedback on is, where's the balance between kind of PvE objectives and PvP objectives? What is the...
Hold on, I got to write these questions down, because as a content creator, I'm going to address these questions specifically. So what did he just say?
Obviously, the interaction of the node event was the central focus of this particular live stream. What we're wanting to collect feedback on is, where's the balance between kind of PvE objectives?
Where's the balance? Of PvE objectives compared to PvP.
And PvP objectives. What is the kind of expectation from a mass battle perspective and like?
What is the expectation? From a mass battle perspective.
Small group teams kind of achieving smaller group objectives. What is the frequency of these events that you want to see, and how much of an impact do you?
What is the frequency?
You want these events to have on the overall war? What are some of the types of interactions between nodes that you want to see in these war types? These different.
Okay, so he's asking so many questions. What other node war types
different types of war rewards that you think might be cool?
Okay.
Some of the event rewards that we talked about, incentivizing players, the incursion of territory, the stealing of relics that we talked a little bit about. This is obviously a very big system. It has a lot of connective tissue across other systems as well. And so because of that, any kind of commentary that you guys have from the player's perspective and other games that you've played, which have had either similar features or unique features that you think could be applied, feel free to give us that feedback. Talk to us a little bit about it. And what did you like about today's presentation? What do you think could have been done better? Keeping in mind, of course, that visual effects, UI, the performance, those are three main categories of areas that we are continuing to work on. So when you see anybody either in Twitch chat, on YouTube, in Discord, on Twitter, wherever you see conversation about what we've showed today, and people say, the visual effects look, like soup, or the UI needs work, or whatever, you can feel confident saying Intrepid has addressed that. That is something they are working on. We expect to see updates on that in the future. Let's talk about.
I'm going to put that on there. Was it 2/3/17?
About these things in the presentation. What did you think about these things, right?
Yeah, sounds perfect. With that, we will move on to studio updates. So let's pull back.
We've set the stage. Features are in a good spot for where we expect.
Audience is aware of that.
Yeah. I think the golden path is different for every to be the core gameplay systems. And narratively, they should have significant number of people.
That I'm going to move us on to our Q&A from the forums, and as usual I will provide some visuals from our Node War preview. So the first one here is from Netromos, who wants to know about war logistics. To what extent will logistics and supply lines be integrated into Node Wars?
Yeah, so there has been some discussion around certain event types requiring those types of supplies within certain time frames, right? So kind of kind of acquiring material resources, transporting those material resources to specific locations, being stage components of event types. So in that sense, we do want to simulate these ideas of logistics and supply lines, but that's delegated to specific war event types.
All right.
Here, I'm gonna I'm gonna kind of probably end stream a little bit. Man, it's been a long stream. But guys, I just want to say for the people that are in chat, thank you so much for coming in and just hanging out. I know this may have, well, hopefully in the beginning it was entertaining, but honestly, like I'm really trying to I really want to make a really good video on my feedback on this system, because this was such a banger video, a banger stream in general. And every question that Steven asked for feedback on, I literally want to specifically address in my video and just give my overall thoughts on the system, because it's looking so damn good. And I literally can't wait to experience this in Alpha 2, because by the time we experience it, we're going to be experiencing it so much better than what the PI members have tested. And I think I'm just so waiting. I am waiting to get my hands on classes. I want to check out augments. I want to check out the talent trees. I want to check out the weapons. I want to feel how everything basically works and interacts like in tandem with each other. So let me see, were you the doc that he called in stream? What? Yeah. Basically Burns. Yeah. Burns is awesome. Are you going to play on UE5 West or East? I hope I can play on US Central. I hope, and I know Dr. Burns feels this way about Central servers, please. Please offer Central servers for Ashes of Creation. Ultimately, it's not really a choice for mine, because if my guild decides to play on US East, then guess what? I'm playing on US East. But I would love if they had US Central servers. I mean, as someone who lives in Texas, I literally live by a server farm here in San Antonio. There's another server farm in Austin, and there's another server farm in Chicago. There's a lot of major server farms in our central state, or our central area. So I really hope they do that. Let me see. I would like his info if you got a link. Yeah, his link's right here. If you haven't checked out Burns, he was Ashes of Relation. He used to be Ashes of Relation. Now he is the Copium Clinic. He rebranded recently. So if you haven't checked out his content, I highly recommend it. But be careful with Copium, because it's highly addictive. But yeah, guys, have you're in for a treat, Levio. Like, his videos, if you go look at his videos, they are banger videos. You will not be disappointed. He's probably the best AOC content creator right now, like hands down. His editing is like next level. So guys, have a great Saturday. I might stream tomorrow. I am not too sure, but I think tomorrow I'm actually going to be working on my video. So I may not stream, because I may just be working on my video all day tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great weekend, guys.